last 18 games, and they are counting on this arena to turn it around as they trail in the NBA championship 2 games to 0. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger, along with Rick Barry, Mindy Rudolph, and Sonny Hill. And Rick, as you told me, they lead the world in standing ovations down here.
Absolutely incredible, Brent. The fans have really turned on to this ball club. And one of the games that we played them, every time there was a timeout, they came back on the floor. They were doing exactly what you're hearing now as they're lowering the banner for the Western Division Championship for the Phoenix Suns.
So this is why the Suns are counting on this arena to help them. But, Rick, as we take a look at what's happened in the first 2 games, why have the Celtics dominated?
Well, it's been a situation where neither team has played particularly well in the first half. However, in the third quarter, Boston was able to put forth a surge defensively, which turned their offense on, and that was the difference in the game. Let's take a look here in game number 2. You notice the pressure in the backcourt. Charlie Scott does not try to steal the ball from Ricky Sobers. He makes him work hard to bring it up the floor. When he approaches half court, he now gets up a little tighter, forcing him out high. Paul Westphal has the ball. Now notice how far they are from the basket. 25 feet or more. That's not what Phoenix wants to do to run their offense. So from this point, they go on, try to get the ball into their center, Alvan Adams. Dave Cowens not overplaying at this point. But notice on the weak side of the floor, Ricky Sobers sets a screen on Paul Silas. Now watch the good defense played by the Celtics. Charlie Scott sees the screen being set, switches off of Ricky Sobers, and is going to pick up Garfield Hurt as he comes around. He puts a lot of pressure on. Cowens now pressures the ball. Only one thing wrong with the Celtics defense at this point. John Havlicek is not watching the ball and his man. JoJo White a little bit off the ball also, but they will recover and turn their heads. Continuous pressure now by the Celtics. Cowens on Adams. Scott on Hurd. Now watch Paul Silas. He's the key here. He drops off to Sobers, who's out of the play. He is zoning basically in the middle. Good weak side defense. He anticipates extremely well as Adam tries to pass it to Hurd, makes the steal, and it was defense and plays like this that enabled the Celtics to beat the Suns in the first 2 ball games.
So now we have the stage set for Game 3. We're going to be talking to the 2 captains, Curtis Perry and John Havlicek, as the NBA Championship Series continues on CBS.
Someday, Kowalski, they're going to make a pickup truck out of these cheap machines. And when they do, it's going to be the sweetest pickup in the world. Sarge, extra heavy-duty everything. And high ground clearance so it can handle almost any terrain. Sarge! You know why, Kowalski? Because it's all cheap 4-wheel drive from the ground up. Know what I mean? Sarge, look. Bikes in the back. Well, sure. I'm entitled to a day off, ain't I?
Junior Bodine took the banjo to bring the down-home sound of country music.
Heck, Dub-Dub, it took the electric guitar to let the world hear country music. Ain't that right, Wendell?
All I know is it took Schlitz to bring the taste to life.
All right.
Introducing Schlitz Light Beer. Less filling and 1/3 fewer calories than our regular beer, but all the taste you'd expect from Schlitz.
To bring the taste to life. But it took W.W. Briscoe. Teach you all to wear rhinestones.
We're back now at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, and I have to point out, Rick, that Sonny Hill has been booed by a lot of the fans down here. They think that he has put their basketball team down. Well, it's not so right now. Let's go to Sonny Hill, who's standing by with Curtis Perry. Sonny?
Curtis, seems like we have a vocal crowd here, not only for your ball club, but some fans here feel that I've been, well, look at here. Isn't that very nice? Just to let you support me. I think right there you can see the kind of fans that they have in the Phoenix area who are very much behind your ball club. Curtis, how do you see this game, and as the captain of your team, what do you feel your team has to do?
Well, first of all, we're going to have to play really intelligent today. We can't make a lot of mistakes. Boston takes advantage of mistakes and turnovers, and we have to make sure that they don't get a lot of fast breaks today. We've played the kind of basketball that got us here up until the last couple of games, so I think we have to go back to that.
You talk about going back to that. The physical style of play of the Boston Celtics, where they're very aggressive. Do you feel that your team will have to become a little more physical?
We have to play right along with them, or possibly be more physical because of the situation we're in, being 2 down. We just have to come out and take it to them.
All right, let's go down to Mindy Rudolph and John Havlicek.
John, there's been a lot of press out here about you guys being the Boston Bullies. I think that happens every time we play in a series, and when you get into a series like this, I think everything's a little more physical because of the intensity of the game, but I really don't feel that this series has been that tough physically.
Well, when you read the papers out here in Phoenix and you talk to some of the ball players, they feel that they've been pushed around, they've been elbowed, they've been smacked around with forearms. And what are you going to do if they retaliate today?
Well, you hold your ground because this is the type of thing where you get so far, you don't want to let anyone intimidate you to any extent. Therefore, I feel that they're going to play as hard as we can, and we have players like Callens and Silas who probably play this way throughout the whole season, but when you get into a series of 7 games, it becomes a factor because you're facing each other every night, whereas during this regular season, we played them 4 times spread out over 8 months, so it isn't as significant as it is now.
John, very quickly, how's that foot of yours?
Well, it's a lot better, and I feel that I can play probably more than I have in quite some time, unless something happens to it. But prior to the game, I think that everything's favorable for me. You never know when it's going to go out, though, so you just hope for the best.
Okay, John, best of luck to you. Best of luck.
Mindy.
All right, back to Brent and Rick for more in today's game.
Thank you very much, Mindy. You know, Rick, I agree with John Havlicek. I honestly don't think this series has been that physical, and I think when you start crying about that, it becomes a mental thing for you.
Well, there's no doubt about it that it can become a problem as far as the Suns are concerned. I don't think there's been a lot of overly physical play as far as around the basket is concerned. However, there has been a lot of hand checking. I think that's the biggest complaint as far as Coach McLeod and Coach Bianchi are concerned with Phoenix. They've allowed the guards to put a lot of pressure on, a lot of hands on, and Phoenix is just going to have to counteract it. They have to send the forwards back up the floor, set a few screens to try and free the guards so they take a little of that pressure off.
All right, Rick, stage is set. Boston Celtics have won the first 2 games of this NBA championship. Now it is Game 3 in Phoenix, and we'll be back with the opening tip-off in just a moment.
It's your face, that's it. Love it. It's your face, that's it. Love it. It's your face, that's it. Love it.
Push, pull, click, click. The Schick injector system loves your face this quick. Push, pull, click, click, and you lock a Teflon-coated blade into place for a really smooth, close shave.
It's your face, that's it. Love it.
Schick injector system, regular or twin blades.
Keep highways humming all across the land. It's the sound of America from little cars to vans.
And on the city streets, for driving the country roads, for making the way smooth and easy, America rides Monroe.
Monroe. It's the #1 shock absorber in the world. You'll feel the difference.
Bursting shocks, the name you know, America rides Monroe.
The NBA championship on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. Sonny and Cher star in an offbeat look at politics, current events, and famous teams, including themselves, tonight on CBS.
Take your very best shot and may the best team win. The time is now, the name of the game is action. They're on the floor and they're ready to score, so let the game begin. And let's see how the ball's going about today. Welcome to NBA. Come on and join
Today's NBA championship game is sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves.
From Veterans Memorial Coliseum, it's Game 3, and they are on their feet again. The second standing ovation of the day for the Phoenix Suns, who find themselves trailing the Boston Celtics 2 games. So, one of the managing partners, Andy Williams, is on hand to try and bring his Suns good luck today. The crowd is ready, and the Suns are being introduced. Alvan Adams is out there along with the forwards Curtis Perry and Garfield Hurd. And now the guards will come out. Rookie Ricky Sobers and the veteran Paul Westphal, who last season was playing for the Boston Celtics. Let's take a look at the starting lineups because we do have one change for the Boston Celtics. Hurd will go against Steve Kaburski. Kaburski starting in place of Don Nelson. Silas and Curtis Perry at the other forward spot, although I expect Silas and Hurd actually to be matched against each other. Adams and Cowens will be the starting centers as they have for the first 2 games. Then the guard matchups, and this is the area where the Celtics have had an advantage so far. White against Westphal and Charlie Scott, the former Phoenix Sun, against Ricky Sobers. And Rick, in talking to John McLeod, he indicated today that he might come with Phil Lumpkin early in this game to see if he can get someone to help them handle the basketball. They have not done well in that particular area, and that boo that you just heard is for our fellow worker, Sonny Hill. Are they up for Sonny? Rick, they love you in this arena.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They didn't during the regular season, but thanks to Sonny, all the heat is off me. There's one interesting statistic, I think, Brent. The Suns were able to out-rebound the Golden State Warriors in our series in several of the ball games during that series. They have not been able to do that against the Celtics, and I think that's a big key. If they can control the boards and do a job there, it may help to generate some offense for them.
Rick, I want to go back and point out one thing about Sonny, because a lot of his fans are wondering, why is that crowd in Phoenix down on it? Well, prior to the start of the season, in a basketball magazine, Sonny Hill said the Phoenix Suns probably were the worst team in professional basketball. Here they are in the championship. Cowens taps it way back to Paul Silas. And here come the Boston Celtics in the green jersey. My early report out of Indianapolis has A.J. Boyd ahead. We'll keep you informed as the ball has been turned over immediately to the Suns.
Well, it's 3 straight games that the Celtics come out and been a little ragged as far as the movement of the basketball is concerned. They've had a lot of turnovers.
Sobers trying to set up closer to the hoop, as Rick pointed out in the pregame show. Suns have had a lot of problems down there. Sobers with the first shot, and there was a foul as he came up. He'll have a couple of free throws.
Well, the man who picked up the foul is Charlie Scott, who has set a new record for the playoffs as far as fouling out of ball games. He fouled out in the first 2 games, and it hurt the Celtics in the 4th quarter when he was out of that ball game the other night. The Suns made a run back at the Celtics. Sobers, of course, against us, had a tremendous game down here in game number 6 and really got the Suns off to a great start offensively, and maybe he's going to try and do the same thing here this morning.
He scored the first 8 points against you in that game, right?
Right.
Now Scott handling the ball for the Celtics, bringing it up against Westphal. Here is Silas in the corner. Garfield Hurd backs off. They'll give Silas that shot. Cowens now to the top of the circle. JoJo pops one from the perimeter.
JoJo White.
Sobers against the pressure. Once they come across the timeline, as Rick pointed out, that's where the Celtics have been tightening up. Here's Curtis Perry, and you can see Cowens switch off on him. Sobers coming down a baseline. Ball deflected on the pass back, but he has regained control. Here's Perry giving it off to Garfield Hurd. Steve Kaburski with control, and the Celtics bring it down. We are just underway in game 3, and it's tied at 2. Inside move by White, and he drew the foul, pushing foul on Ricky Sobers, his first.
That's a shame for the Phoenix Suns. Ricky Sobers picking up that foul. It was a very difficult shot JoJo had to make because Curtis Perry had some great defensive help on that play. And I don't think JoJo would have been able to make that shot had Ricky not fouled him.
Wait, till these two.
You know, it's a tendency a lot of times of players to try and go for blocks and what have you, but a lot of times you should just let the man shoot the ball because he really has to take a difficult shot, and it's not a good percentage shot, and what we say is they bail him out all the time.
Adams was down helping the guard. Sobers comes up quickly on White. Perry comes out to the right side. This is Silas down and off quickly to Charlie Scott. Westphal was there on defense. Ball went out of bounds, and the Celtics will have it.
Well, if the Suns keep missing those shots, the Celtics are going to be able to get the ball up the floor quickly. They're controlling the defensive boards.
John Havlicek sitting over on the Celtic bench, waiting to check in. Scott is short. Out of bounds as he tried to save it. It was Alvan Adams who jumped back there towards the crowd.
I think everybody was surprised, both offensively and defensively, because Charlie Scott shot the air ball. They expected it to hit the basket, I'm sure.
Deep to Charlie Scott. Inside to Kaburski, who has shot well. That time he missed, only Cowens at the offensive board came right back up, and there was contact.
That's where Dave Cowens is so tough. Let's take a look and see how he gets this ball. Here's the shot coming by Kaburski. You notice he already has established inside position on Curtis Curry. Goes up very strong with the ball. Little pump fake. Gets Garherd up in the air. Draws the foul.
Two team fouls, Rick, against the Suns and one against the Celtics.
Of course, the key to that was Dave Cowens getting the excellent position before the shot came off.
Goes down. Sobers makes his move. Garfield Hurd comes to the line, but no shot on it. Silas picks up the foul.
Let's watch the defense by Charlie Scott here. Here he is playing defense against Sobers. Sobers starts to drive. Charlie tries to cut over in front. A little bit of a push, but it looked like a little Hollywood, Mindy.
Little Cary Grant out there, right? He got touched, but he didn't get pushed on it.
Turn around. Westphal up over White, and Cowens controls the defensive board. 5-2, Celtics lead, 9:50 to go in the first quarter. Inside pass to White. Cowens with the screen. White behind it. 7-2 here early in the first quarter. Westphal cut off by Kaburski. Brings it back out. Harry, who was in early foul trouble in game 2, up with a shot off the iron. Scott with control. John McLeod complaining. White gets inside Sobers and off to Silas. Here's Charlie Scott with a pass back for Kaburski, who was not breaking toward the hoop. It was not a good pass. Charlie anticipated Steve was going to break, and Steve, on the other hand, thought that Scott might come up with the shot. We've got a timeout called by the Phoenix Suns here early. And Rick, again, we see the Suns having some difficulty getting into their offensive rhythm against this tremendous desire that the Celtics have demonstrated in this series.
Unbelievable as it may sound, my first Datsun had 150,000 miles on it before I ever relined the brakes. The car is durable, reliable, dependable, and I do believe that with a little care and maybe love and affection, the car may run forever.
Like all Datsuns, economical B210s make the savings last. Datsun saves.
Americans are on the move, going everywhere, and Michelin's the tire that's gonna take them there. Michelin first, Michelin first. We don't make a second best.
We believe the radial is the only way to travel America, so it's the only tire we make. We don't compromise, and you don't have to either, because Michelin radials cost less than you think.
We don't make a second best.
I'm a ball player, and I get to do commercials. But when I opened my own restaurant last year, I faced the same problem as any new businessman: how to reach people. The Yellow Pages helped put my restaurant on the map, and it's still the biggest part of our advertising. If you want to go into business, the Yellow Pages can help you too, even if your name's not Johnny Bench.
Let your fingers do the walking. It's a snap. Advertise in the Yellow Pages.
right after this basketball game, the Jack Nicklaus Memorial Tournament. Rick, how's that going right now?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's going to make all of the weekend hackers feel very good is yesterday Jack Nicklaus, on, of course, that he designed, on a par 3 hole, had a quadruple bogey. I know it makes me feel good.
Quadruple bogey for the big guy, and he designed the hole, right?
Yeah, of course, Roger Maltby down there is doing real well, and it's a real battle. They're going to have a real good tournament down there, I'm sure, this afternoon.
One quick question, Rick. Quadruple bogey is 4 over par?
That's exactly right.
4 over.
A 7. The big 7 for Big Jack.
Sobers bringing it up against Charlie Scott. It's 7-2. The Celtics lead the Suns early in Game 3. Westphal goes to the basket.
That's the type of penetration they have not been getting in the first 2 games. They need more of that.
That's the Celtic lead to 3. Celtics setting a play right now. They have been forced to go more to pattern basketball during the playoffs with Havlicek on the bench. Collins off to Silas inside. And it was a 3-second violation. They have turned it over.
That was good defense that time by the Suns. They threw the high lob pass to Collins, who was being fronted by Alvan Adams. And good weak side help that time by Curtis Curry.
Suns, Rick, with an opportunity to pull to within 1 point. Knocked away. Turnover. Kaburski on the floor, and Alvan Adams picks it up and shoots it off the iron. Comes back up against JoJo White. He small foul when he came back up in the air.
Garfield Hurd picks up his second foul there. Alvan Adams, I think, took a little bit too quick a shot. He had a little bit more time to do something constructive, but he rushed that shot just a bit.
Inside to Scott at the left baseline. And Curtis Curry controls for the Suns. 7-4 and 8 minutes and 5 seconds to go. The first quarter of this, the third game. Celtics leading the Suns 2-0. Inside, and again, they're getting left. Here's quick ones in a row, Rick. Just what you said they had to have.
That's the type of plays that they need. The give and goes to the basket with Alvan Adams making the fine pass to Curtis Curry.
Suns trying to be a little bit more aggressive here on defense as JoJo White misses, and the Suns have a chance to go ahead. They trail it by 1, and they are definitely getting down closer to the basket. 2 quick layups here by the Suns. Westphal this time at the perimeter, and it is Alvan Adams who could not control it, although he had a hand on it. Garfield Hurd comes up.
Celtics getting a little bit of a cold streak on their shooting and not quite the intensity defensively.
The Celtics have turned it over. Phoenix with an excellent spurt following that timeout. So whatever it was that John McLeod had to say to his team certainly has worked here already. Sobers on the penetration.
And Tommy Heinsohn right away wisely is going to call timeout. The Phoenix Suns have got some life, and without any question, this is the best basketball that they have played in the first half of either of the 3 games so far.
When I played hockey, I really played hockey. They didn't call me Boom Boom for nothing. When I drink beer, I really drink beer. Light beer from Miller. It tastes great. And it's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, and I can't get filled up. I've got to move fast. When you play the way I did, you make a lot of enemies.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
America stops shaving and starts grooming.
Hey, Dad, when will I be old enough to groom like you?
Well, right now, I could really go for a hot shower and a groom.
A lot of people don't just shave anymore. Now they groom with the groomer from Sunbeam. It shaves clean and close with Sunbeam's thinnest shaving head ever. And it's the only shaver that can do this. Groom mustaches, beards, even trim hair. So stop shaving and start grooming with the Sunbeam Shave Master Groomer.
Boy, that was a close groom.
Well, when we first started this business out, it's like any business. You don't make much money, if any. And by using the Dodsons, we didn't have to make a whole lot to not to be losing too much. I just bought this new 1976 Dodson here. I traded in a 1971 that had 230,000 miles on it. We find our Dodsons very dependable, just about as dependable as the sun coming up in the morning.
They talk about the home court advantage, and you can feel the crowd urging the Phoenix Suns on here in Game 3. A completely different atmosphere, and the team has responded differently.
The one thing Phoenix has responded well, getting opportunities, but what they've done is take advantage of breakdowns of the Boston Celtics defense. I'm sure Tom Heinsohn was talking to them about their defensive breakdowns.
You saw a reminder about the Belmont next Saturday on CBS. John Havlicek was handling the ball for the first time. Shot outside, missed by Charlie Scott. Quick pass by Garfield Hurd, too far ahead of Curtis Perry. On the turnover, the Celtics will bring it back down.
Watch Paul Silas right here. And Garfield Hurd holding a little bit on that rebound attempt there.
Perry picking up Havlicek. Collins picked off Perry, so Adams jumped out on Hondo. Hondo moving around Alvan Adams. Hurd tipped back. The ball to Paul Westphal. 10-7. Suns leading the Celtics. 6:22 in the first, and there was contact.
Gar Hurd made a nice move on Dave Collins that time, and they drew the foul against Dave.
His first foul.
There's the play. Picks the ball up from Westphal. Good fake. Head fake to the right. Dribble left. Collins with the hand check. Picked up the foul.
You can see Collins jump back down into the lane and help clog it up. And Alvan Adams, but inside, Sobers couldn't put it in on the offensive rebound. JoJo White back down with Havlicek. As Hondo comes, and Scott goes to the basket. And Paul Silas has stolen the ball, and the crowd is claiming foul. Turn it over. Charlie Scott gave it up. Sobers goes to Curtis Perry, who's got two. It's 12-7. Suns over the Celtics.
Suns right now are playing Boston Celtics type basketball, and they're beating them at it.
Back to Charlie Scott, who throws up one from outside. And Alvan Adams is there.
Bad shot for this stage of the game. They've got to try and get inside.
Westphal gives it up. Perry maneuvering on the turnaround off the side, and Collins was there for control. White off to Havlicek. Havlicek with a short chucker. Crowd claiming that he should have turned it over when he stepped inside, but he traveled. It's 12-9 and 5:14 to go in the first quarter. Off Westphal's hands. Battle for the loose ball. On the turnover, Celtics bring it down. JoJo White with control. Tried to bounce pass it to Silas, who had broken ahead of the pass.
JoJo, unfortunately for him, took the ball one step too far. He was in the 3-second lane, and he had to rush the pass a little bit. If he had stopped before the 3-second lane at the foul line, he would have had more opportunity to see what was happening.
Paul Westphal goes out, and Dick Van Arsdale, number 5, replaces him. Sobers was fouled, and that was in the backcourt, wasn't it, Lindy?
That was the backcourt foul, Grant. After the play, the officials must continue to call to keep this game on a consistent level. Boston will play with their hands. They'll get away with as much as they possibly can. It's a very, very important call that continues through 4 quarters.
Kevin Stakem checks into the game.
Before that basket by John Havlicek, Brent, the Celtics had gone 4 minutes and 20 seconds without scoring, and John McLeod was really hot yelling at the officials. I don't know why he's complaining. He did call a backcourt foul on the hand checking by the Celtics.
Both coaches going to their benches right now. Keith Erickson, number 14, is on the floor for John McLeod. Let me set the Suns lineup. Erickson, Van Arsdale, Sobers, Perry, and Adams. For the Celtics, Stakem, Silas, Collins, White, and John Havlicek. So far, the Suns bench, at least their top 3 substitutes, have shot only 27% in 2 games. That's Erickson, Van Arsdale, and Otto. On the turnover, here come the Suns. Turned it over 7 times already.
Havlicek made a good pass. This man wasn't looking.
Van Arsdale took the pass from Sobers and connected. It's 16-9, 4:28, and we've got a timeout.
Tom Heinsohn is going to have to try and get his troops together. They are having one breakdown after another defensively. They're allowing good penetration by Ricky Sobers, Paul Westphal, and when that happens on the last play that we just saw, Dick Van Arsdale got an easy opportunity from the outside. Sobers penetrated to the middle, pulled the defensive men to him. He saw that there was no opening, pitched the ball out to Van Arsdale, who had a good 15-foot shot from the side, and he loves that shot.
Rick and Mindy, can a team keep it up the way Phoenix starts out?
Well, they can with this home court edge, and that's something I want to ask Rick about. Rick, is it such a tremendous edge when we saw Phoenix play the 2 games up in Boston? Now they come home. Is it the familiarity on the court, the spots on the court? Is it the basket? Is it the shadows? What is it that makes the team play so well at home and so poorly on the road for 2 games?
Well, Benny, I think what you mentioned are all contributing factors. But without any question in my mind, the biggest factor is the crowd. These people are really behind this ball club. Everything that they do, they respond to. They make a good defensive play, a good offensive play, what have you. They yell. They go crazy. And what happens inside of you, it's not that you're not ready to play totally 100%, but it seems like you get 125, 150. That adrenaline really gets flowing when that crowd gets yelling. And it's a fantastic feeling. It really is.
Someone asked me that once, Rick, and I said, you dribble a little better, you jump a little higher, and you run a little faster.
Exactly.
Rick, we've got an update here on the Jack Nicklaus Memorial Tournament. Hale Irwin, there's a friend of yours. Look what he's doing.
Yeah, well, Hale is smoking, as they say. He started the day 3 over par. He's played only 5 holes, and he's birdied 3 of those 5 holes.
And in this Game 3 of the NBA Championship from Phoenix, Arizona, in the last 5 minutes, the Phoenix Suns have outscored the Boston Celtics 14-2. Keep in mind that the Celtics have won the first 2 games of this series, and the happiest man here has to be Andy Williams. He is applauding every Suns basket. He's going to bring him good luck.
So this is the Friender for Dick Block. Another turnover there, as you saw, by the Celtics.
That is 8 turnovers, and we have 4 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first. 4 team fouls against the Celtics and 3 against the Suns. JoJo White is picking up Dick Van Arsdale. His twin brother Tom seated just behind me watching the action. He plays for the Atlanta Hawks. And here is Dick. Jump shot. He's 1 of 2. Cowens outlet to White. Erickson back on defense. JoJo gets inside. Stakem was up there, but the Suns control. And it is Alvan Adams. Gives it off to Erickson. Back to Van Arsdale on the 3-on-2, but they can't put it down. Sobers on the interception. Took it away from JoJo White. Gave it back to Van Arsdale. And it was the Rookie of the Year, Alvan Adams, who tipped it in. It's 18-9.
I cannot believe the Suns are beating the Celtics in a running basketball game. This is really amazing.
Havlicek off the iron and out of bounds, and I believe it will go back to the Celtics. Yes, indeed. It was Dick Van Arsdale who was down there and touched it last as it went out of bounds over the end line. Richie Powers, the referee, right there on top of it. Don Nelson will check into the game for Tommy Heinsohn.
This is a heck of a pace they're going at right now. And, of course, Dave Cowens, has played a lot of minutes in playoff competition. And this may have an effect on Dave as far as his stamina is concerned.
He's such a horse, Rick. I think he could play about 48 minutes every night for about 2 running months. But, oh, it's going to go back, and here comes Alvan Adams. The inbound pass by Stakem was too deep. Adams went down and drew the foul.
He picked up the foul. John Havlicek, as he ran by, he has an opportunity for a 3-point play. And you talk about turnarounds in a basketball game. You have just seen this. 7-2, Boston ahead. Phoenix has gone crazy. There's the pass. Cowens is not waiting for it. Adams anticipates well. Driving in. Havlicek right there. Caught Alvan on the left arm. You couldn't see it as he blocked it out. But there's no doubt it was a foul.
Alvan Adams at the line with 3 shots to make 1.
Celtics are over the limit. Adams doesn't need the penalty, however. So it's 21-9 and John McLeod, who ran a 45-minute practice session yesterday. Nothing unusual. He just told everyone to play a little tougher and keep doing the things that got them here. Van Arsdale out on Havlicek that time, and he drew the foul. But that is the kind of defense that the Boston Celtics have been playing.
And the fans don't like it because they think that what's good for one should be good for the other. Dick Van Arsdale has always been a fantastic defensive player. He used to play me as a forward, but he was with the Knicks, and he was tough.
Havlicek, Keith Erickson watching him. Alvan Adams taking Cowens, and Cowens picks off Perry. Here's Havlicek giving it up to Scott. From the corner, Charlie Scott buries it.
Watch Van Arsdale now. He was guarding Scott. Watch Scott come around. Dick gets caught standing a screen by Nelson. Look at that screen by Don Nelson. That is a foul.
It is 21-11 Phoenix, 2:44 to go in the first. Sobers, who has penetrated much of the first quarter successfully, missed the shot that time. Hondo. Here come the Suns after the Perry rebound. Erickson on the wing, inside to Adams. And it is Curtis Perry who drew the foul. Don Nelson ran over to that side as Perry fielded the missed shot.
Good hustle that time by Curtis Perry. He worked very hard to get underneath and get good position. Collins would put a defense at Adams. The ball was short, and Curtis was in the right place.
Paul Westphal coming back into the game, and Ricky Sobers goes out.
You know that replay that we showed, you were wondering probably how did Charlie Scott get open for that jump shot that he made. Well, you saw what happened. Don Nelson almost took Dick Van Arsdale's head off.
Right. And that screen belonged on a storm door. It was so big.
Here's the penalty. 22-11, and 2 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the first quarter of this, the third game of the NBA Championship Series. Collins had the ball deflected momentarily by Van Arsdale, but he regained control and put it down. 22-13. Game 4 is coming up on CBS Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Adams goes up over Charlie Scott. 24-13. And 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Don Nelson from one of his favorite spots. 9-point Phoenix lead. 135. And they have played by far their best basketball in the first quarter of the 3 games. Right here. Alvan Adams. Nelson knocked it away and out of bounds.
Now, you want to talk about intensity and physical play. This game is by far the most physical of all.
Westphal starts his move. Left-handed hook just a little bit short as he came inside. He's complaining that he was fouled. Havlicek back down for the Celtics. Inside pass to Charlie Scott, and it was Westphal who came across on Scott and got him.
Well, you don't like to say a lot of negative things about time, but I think there's a little frustration on the part of the Celtics right at this point. Charlie Scott, when he picked up that foul, threw what I consider to be a nasty elbow at the man who fouled him. Let's watch the replay. Watch him go up. You see that elbow that Charlie threw? That's totally unnecessary and uncalled for, and the official should warn him about something like that. What do you think, Mindy?
I don't think it's to warn him, Rick. I think it's just call it. Forget about the warning. If it happens, then it's contact, call the play.
Nelson helping Scott out on Westphal, and Charlie quickly gets back on Curtis Perry. Inside pass to Alvan Adams, and Havlicek was there. John fouled him.
Watch the play here, the pass into Adams. Look at Havlicek just backing his body into Alvan Adams. A good call that time, I think, by Paul Mahalik.
Time left in the first quarter, 58 seconds. 24-17, Phoenix over Boston. So far in this game, the Suns have had streaks of 10 and 9 unanswered points. Here's the penalty. A 9-point lead by Phoenix. Erickson follows Havlicek down through the lane. John pops out the other side, always moving. JoJo White from the perimeter. All Westphal with control for John McLeod's Phoenix Suns, who during the regular season finished only 2 games over 500. An incredible success story. Inside to Westphal, and they're going to come the other way. Offensive foul. Seconds left in the first quarter. They take the shot clock down toward 10, inside of that mark. Trying to use it up as much as possible. Nelson inside, and it was Curtis Perry who got a hand on it. 7 seconds to go. Westphal has check the clock. Now 5 on the penetration. Oh, no, Towns in just a second. They won't have enough time. We have come to the end of the first quarter of this, the third game of the NBA Championship Series. The Phoenix Suns have come alive before their home crowd, and they lead it.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
It's me, George Burns. For a guy who used to smoke cigars, even in the shower, I never thought I'd get real smoking satisfaction from a pipe tobacco. But this Sir Walter Raleigh is terrific. Made from all burley tobacco. Mellow, rich, really a quality smoke. Terrific. And the pouch matches my shower curtains.
The quality pipe tobaccos of America.
Hi, Yang. No, this ain't a beer. It's STP oil treatment. I take care of my own cars, and I've been using STP for the last 10 years. The troops at STP tell me it makes the oil tougher, even a premium 10W40. And it helps reduce engine wear and you burn less oil. What I'm telling you is it works. And you can take that to the bank.
As a businessman, for me, there is no other choice other than Datsun. We own 35 Datsuns, and they perform beautifully. You cannot beat the cost of operation, and the downtime is minimal. Rain, sleet, snow, these cars keep going, and they put an average of 1,000 miles a week on each one of them. We've tried 4 different manufacturers in the past 4 years, constantly checking to see if there's a better automobile than a Datsun. And for my money, there isn't.
The second quarter just beginning here at Phoenix, 26-17. The Suns over the Boston Celtics. An update on that story out of Indianapolis. Rain has suspended the 500 at the 103rd lap. Johnny Rutherford is ahead. And Rick, what have you got on the Memorial Golf Tournament?
Well, we're going to have a real battle going down to the wire. Roger Maltby is leading, the -4. Don Bees, -2. Hale Irwin even, Jerry Tate even, and Rod Funtz at the even par.
Erickson, Westphal, Van Arsdale, Hurd, and Adams on the floor against Scott, Havlicek, Nelson, Silas, and Cowan. Havlicek working at guard for Tommy Heitzen. Garfield Hurd with the quarter's first shot at his miss. And Cowan with that aggressiveness that he has demonstrated all season long. Controlling the board, coming back down on offense. Havlicek with a shot that is short. Cowan went there to save it, but the Suns with control, and they bring it down. Westphal giving it to Keith Erickson. Nelson came over on defense, and Alvan Adams cleans up.
That's the advantage you have of getting the ball up the floor quickly. The defense does not get back in time, and they don't have the position underneath the boards, and you get opportunities like that.
Traveling. Celtics have turned it over. 11 turnovers and 5 for Phoenix.
Tommy Heitzen has one of the most disgusted, perplexed looks on his face.
Nelson trying to keep Garfield Hurd out away from the basket. Now he's picked up Adams on the switch. Adams hits it. That's 2 quick field goals in a row by the Rookie of the Year from Oklahoma. It's 30-17. 10:49 to go in the first half. Whistle away as JoJo White checks back in.
14 goals.
And Keith Erickson has picked up a foul with 10:43 to go in the second quarter, and it is 30-17. The Suns playing their best basketball of the series so far.
We've asked these men to help demonstrate the advantages of a Datsun 5-door wagon over ordinary 3-door wagons. With a Datsun 5-door wagon, you can get in the back seat easier and quicker, which means you can leave quicker.
We both can't get in. On 3 now, I think we got...
Datsun saves. See the Datsun 610 and 710 5-door wagons at your Datsun dealer.
Polaroid introduces Pronto, a little camera for SX70 pictures for only $66.
Whoever thought there'd be an inexpensive camera, Pronto, for SX70 pictures, a picture in minutes, just watch it emerge. At $66, give in to the urge.
Pronto, a surprising little camera for SX70 pictures.
Pronto from Polaroid.
Hey, good buddies, you got lead foot. Traffic is wall to wall. Lots of steamers. Hope my heat light doesn't show its color. Come on.
Leadfoot, you got the yellow night. My rig's loaded with what you might need. A big, fresh fill of Prestone coolant to fight boilovers, and Prestone coolant system products for their special cash refund.
Yellow Knight, where is that deal?
At that Prestone display now.
10-4 and rolling your way for Prestone 2.
There's John McLeod's wife, Mindy.
And we learned something before the game that I didn't know about John McLeod, Brent. He was a light heavyweight boxer and sparred with Jimmy Ellis. I was surprised to hear that.
I was shocked.
Pretty good with his hands, I'm told.
He and Al Adams will have a good go.
Listen, that's a pretty tough bench right there. McLeod, Bianchi. Bianchi won't back down. He never did.
I've seen your coach Al Adams in action at some time, and I'll tell you, he is a tough cookie.
10:43 to go in the first half. They're all over the ball. Phoenix is playing Boston Celtics-style defense here, forcing one turnover after another. Dennis Autry will be checking in. Westphal inside, and Jimmy Yard, who's come off the bench, just took it away from him. Cowan's getting a break. They leave Havlicek wide open, and he missed. Jimmy Yard tried to push it back in. Wouldn't go. Jimmy Yard played extremely well the other night in the Boston Garden, getting a chance here second quarter. 30-17. Celtics trailing. Adams hits the iron, and Silas was there. Here comes Scott. White off to Silas. And Silas puts it down. And we've got something going between Scott and Westphal.
No question about it. I saw them going. Westphal gave him a pretty good shove when he set his screen, and Charlie came back with an elbow throw. And Richie Powers wisely called a foul. It was on Paul Westphal and separated the two men.
Foul on number 44.
Here's Westphal driving in as he comes in. Jim Hart in the right place at the right time as Paul Westphal made like a football handoff to him.
Westphal and Scott just shook hands. Scott gives the ball to Havlicek. 9:52 to go in the first half. Westphal sticking with Scott. Now they switch. Van Arsdale has Scott. Loose ball controlled by the Suns. They lead at 30-17. Garfield Hurd. And it is the ageless John Havlicek who comes out on the move. Paul Silas on the run. And he'll come the other way on that offense. Foul against Silas.
Looked like Paul didn't have himself under total control. He had committed himself going to the basket. Dick Van Arsdale stepped over in front of him.
9 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half. 30-17. This is game 3. Game 4 is Wednesday night. We've got a whistle away from the ball. That's on Charlie Scott, his second. He has fouled out of the first 2 games of this championship series.
He may have committed the foul, but Dennis Autry got the best shot in.
Erickson. And Autry was pushing away on Ard that time, too, Rick. Blocked by Van Arsdale, who didn't like it. He thought White should be called for offensive charging.
Let's take a look at this one, Mindy. I think this is going to be a very crucial call right here. If Dick Van Arsdale
Big
gets
thing
in
here is
foul
watch
trouble.
the defensive player. If he retreats, now to me, Rick, that is an offensive foul.
I think so, too. I have to agree with you.
Erickson fields White's miss. 8:49, 30-17. Phoenix leading Boston. Havlicek went down, and Autry was there, and there was a foul called. And it's the 3rd foul against John Havlicek.
Brent, this is what John McLeod and Al Bianchi told us before the game.
There is no way that Phoenix fans are going to have any rough stuff and not retaliate against the Boston Celtics today.
Inside pass to Hurd. And it is tough right now.
That's on Charlie Scott again.
That's his third foul, and he can't believe it.
He's getting a technical foul, too, I think. And
He
there
just
it
got
is.
it.
Charlie Scott really getting hot. Letting the intensity of the game get to him a little bit. Let's watch the isolation on Charlie Scott. Here he is now guarding Sobers. Let's watch. He switches off at Van Arsdale. A little bit of hands right there. Starts to hold. Using his hands. Van Arsdale a little bit upset. Pushes back against him. Once again. Charlie Scott picking up his third foul. Getting himself into foul difficulty. Dick Van Arsdale with the technical free throw. And Charlie has got to control himself. He can't let himself lose control. And, of course, Heinsohn has got him out of the game right now.
Brent, Rick, I think the officials are doing a super job right now of controlling the hand checking, which is so important. It's been very consistent up until now.
8 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first half. 31-17. Phoenix leading Boston. Curtis Perry, who had just checked into the game, gave it back to Sobers. Autry hit the ball and it went out of bounds. So the Celtics will have it. As far as the team fouls are concerned, 3 against Phoenix, 3 against Boston, and 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
The Celtics have not scored so far in the second quarter.
From the corner, silence, and they still haven't scored. Sobers twists around, gives it up to Perry. Garfield Hurd gave it up after controlling the offensive board. Evan Steichel. And the lid is on for Boston. Once again, Suns playing running basketball. Hurd pushes up a miss, controls it. Fans are going crazy. They just love it. 7 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter, and Tommy Heinsohn is going to take a timeout. His Celtics have been frustrated here so far in Game 3. They lead the series by 2, but apparently it was deceptive. That was too easy.
Through my telepathic powers, I shall attempt to transmit this exact signature to my assistant 3,000 miles away.
With Xerox telecopier transceivers, simply by dialing an ordinary telephone, you can send copies of letters, drawings, even signatures, cross-town or cross-country in a matter of minutes. If your business needs information quickly, your Xerox telecopier representative will show you how to do the trick.
Unbelievable as it may sound, my first Datsun had 150,000 miles on it before I ever relined the brakes. The car is durable, reliable, dependable, and I do believe that with a little care and maybe love and affection, the car may run forever.
Like all Datsuns, economical B210s make the savings last. Datsun saves.
Touch dancing is back, and I love it. It feels good to be dancing in a man's arms, cheek to cheek. Especially when his cheek smells of English leather cologne. English leather literally sweeps me off my feet. Maybe that's why men who wear English leather always seem to be 2 steps ahead of me. And maybe that's why all my men wear English leather. Or they wear nothing at all.
English Leather, a complete grooming line for men.
And the crowd again coming to their feet. I think, Rick, that's about the 3rd standing ovation for the Phoenix Suns, and why not? They've got up 33-17. Boston still looking for its first points here in the second quarter. Shot clock down inside 10. Collins has come back in.
There's another one of those bailout fouls that we talked about. Jojo White had already gone into his shot. He had taken the shot, and Ricky Sobers ran into him after he had shot the ball and picks up what I have to call a silly foul.
Second foul on Sobers. And
4 team fouls against the Suns, with 3 against the Celtics. 7:07 left in the second quarter. Don't forget at halftime, Red Auerbach on round ball. And a report on that Jack Nicklaus Memorial Golf Tournament from Pat Summerall. Cowens, Kaversky, and Silas up front for the Celtics. There's Hurd with a turnaround on Kaversky. It was short. Celtics with control, trailing 33-19. Silas to the basket. It's 33-21. 6:46. And don't anybody count this victory for Phoenix too early. Silas watching Hurd, and there's contact. Cowens was there against Otway. Kevin Stakem picked it up. That's his second foul. Perry against Kaversky. Put it down. 35-21. Stakem is at it with Sobers. Stakem and Sobers are going at it. It was Stakem and Sobers inside. Teams are out on the floor pulling them apart right now. They got underneath. Stakem and Sobers collided.
I'll tell you one thing, Ricky Sobers was really getting some shots in on Kevin Stakem. He had his head down, and Kevin Stakem was in a very undesirable position.
I saw him throw about 4 uppercuts, Rick.
That's right.
The usher's going down there now. The important thing, obviously, to keep the crowd back and get everybody cooled down, and that's the fight that we have been somewhat expecting.
But, you know, the officials, as Mindy pointed out, have been doing an excellent job trying to clean the game up, not let it get overly physical. But there's so much intensity here in this game this morning that I think it was inevitable that we were going to have something like this take place.
And, Rick, that's something you really can't control because it happens so spontaneously. You're working out there and they're trying to do everything they possibly can, and Richie Powers will get it under control.
Now, let's see how Richie handles this. Will he kick them both out? Call a couple of technicals? How will he clean this up? It was Richie Powers who had the 4th game, Golden State, Washington last year, and kicked Al Adelson. Both players have been kicked out. Stakem and Sobers go out.
Blow to the Phoenix Suns, then to the Boston Celtics, of course.
Stakem has been kicked out. Now Sobers is the ball handler for the Phoenix attack.
Exactly.
That's the man who's got to run their offense.
That's going to put a lot of pressure on the Phoenix guards. There you see right there, as they start the fight, in the background, the top of your picture. Now look at Ricky Sobers. I mean, he is really getting some nasty shots in on Kevin Stakem. Look at him, right hand uppercuts, left hand uppercuts. Don Nelson pulling them off. Tom Heinsohn in there, Garherd trying to break it up. Kevin Stakem getting the worst of it, but the Phoenix Suns really taking...
Boy, they lose on that, Rick.
They certainly do lose on that.
They just gave up Sobers for Stakem, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand and think that we're putting Kevin Stakem down.
Exactly.
He played 2 fine games, but he is not as critical to the Boston offense as Sobers is to Phoenix. It's 35-21.
Offensive foul on Dave Cowington, no question about it. Let's take another look how the fight started. Watch them under the basket. There they are. Sobers pushed and Kevin Stakem threw the first punch. And it was Kevin Stakem who started that fight.
Dennis Andre, 6:06 to go, second quarter. Westphal goes. Ojo White was there. And White is called on the push, his second foul. That foul on Cowens was his second. I know you were wondering about that, as Rick Berry pointed out, so he has 2. Now the Boston Celtics went 6:05 without a point. And they got the brawl going with 6:04, 35-21. It was Stakem and Sobers.
And Brent, this is exactly what Alvan Adams told us before the game. They were not going to sit with their hands in their pockets and allow Boston to push them around. He wanted his club to retaliate, and retaliate they're doing.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. If I'm going to pick it, I'm going to go Sobers-Cowens if I got to make a trade. 6 minutes now, it's 37-21. Celtics set up the attack. Silas over here to Cowens. David shoots it outside off the iron. Havlicek touched it. Ojo White knocks it back to Cowens. Cowens wants over and back, but it'll come off the iron. And here's Kaversky. Westphal got his hand on it. Ball out of bounds.
There's been some great defense played by the Phoenix Suns in this basketball game. By far their best of the series.
Kaversky signaling Havlicek to come over to the weak side. Kaversky wanted to roll inside. He sees Conklin, and he cleaned up on it. It's 37-23. Now 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half. Havlicek working with White. Hondo is picking up Van Arsdale.
Of course, with Sobers out of the game, it's not hurting right at this particular junction with this matchup. John Havlicek is not going to put as much pressure on it as, say, Charlie Scott would in the backcourt.
Autry with the ball on the floor against Cowens. Inside to Curtis Perry on the turnaround. He hit it. 39-23 and 5:14 to go in the first half. Silas, right-hand hook. Cowens, left-hand hook. And Autry is screaming that he was pushed underneath. Was he, Rick?
It certainly looked like that to me. Dave Cowens just almost shoved him out of the way.
I want to tell you something. Autry will take you, too. We're going to keep an eye on that. Autry won't back down from Cowens.
Autry and Cowens are going at it heavy.
It's 39-25 and 4:45. A couple of heavyweights pushing and shoving.
Let's watch this rebound on the last play that Dennis Autry is so upset about. Watch Dave Cowens. He's behind him now. And you couldn't really see it, but he had his hand down low. What I referred to in the last game, Lou Parnasecca said the subway push. He had his arm down low near his waist, gave him a shove with it as the ball went up, and Autry went forward.
Steve Kaversky picked up the foul.
But there's so much intensity here in this game this morning that I think it was inevitable that we were going to have something like this take place.
And Rick, that's something you really can't control because it happens so spontaneously. You're working out there and they're trying to do everything they possibly can, and Richie Powers will get it under control.
Now let's see how Richie handles this. Will he kick them both out? Well, a couple of technicals. How will he clean this up? It's Richie Powers, who had the fourth game, Golden State, Washington last year, and kicked out Adelsheim. Both players have been kicked out. Stakem and Sobers go out.
To the Phoenix Suns, then to the Boston Celtics, of course.
Stakem has been kicked out. Now Sobers is the ball handler for the Phoenix attack.
Exactly.
That's the man who's got to run their offense.
That's going to put a lot of pressure on the Phoenix guards. There you see right there, as they start the fight, in the background, the top of your picture. Now look at Ricky Sobers. I mean, he is really getting some nasty shots in on Kevin Stakem. Look at him. Right hand uppercuts, left hand uppercuts. Don Nelson pulling him off. Tom Heinsohn in there, Garher trying to break it up. Kevin Stakem getting the worst of it, but the Phoenix Suns really taking...
Boy, they lose on that, Rick.
They certainly do lose on that.
They just gave up Sobers for Stakem, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand and think that we're putting Kevin Stakem down.
Exactly.
He played 2 fine games, but he is not as critical to the Boston offense as Sobers is to Phoenix. It's 35-21.
Offensive foul on Dave Cowens, and no question about it. Let's take another look how the fight started. Watch them under the basket. There they are. Sobers pushed, and Kevin Stakem threw the first punch. And it was Kevin Stakem who started that fight.
Dennis Autry, 6:06 to go, second quarter. Westphal goes down. JoJo White was there. And White is called on the push, his second foul. That foul on Cowens was his second. I know you were wondering about that, and Rick Barry pointed out, so he has 2. Now the Boston Celtics went 6:05 without a point, and they got the ball going with 6:04, 35-21. It was Stakem and Sobers.
Grant, this is exactly what Alvan Adams told us before the game. They were not going to sit with their hands in their pockets and allow Boston to push them around. He wanted his club to retaliate, and retaliate they're doing.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. If I'm going to pick it, I'm going to go Sobers Cowens if I got to make a trade. 6 minutes now, it's 37-21. Celtics set up the attack. Silas over here to Cowens. David shoots it outside off the iron. Havlicek touched it. JoJo White knocks it back to Cowens. Crowd wants over and back, but it didn't come off the iron. And here's Kaversky. Westphal got his hand on it. Ball out of bounds.
There's been some great defense played by the Phoenix Suns in this basketball game. By far, their best of the series.
Kaversky signaling Havlicek to come over to the weak side. Kaburski wanted to roll inside. He sees something, and he cleaned up on it. It's 37-23. Now 5 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half. Havlicek working with White. Hondo is picking up Van Arsdale.
Of course, with Sobers out of the game, it's not hurting right at this particular juncture with this matchup. John Havlicek is not going to put as much pressure on as, say, Charlie Scott would in the backcourt.
Autry with the ball on the floor against Collins. Inside to Curtis Curry on the turnaround. He hit it. 39-23 and 5:14 to go in the first half. Silas right-hand hook. Collins left-hand hook. And Autry is screaming that he was pushed underneath. Was he, Rick?
It certainly looked like that to me. Dave Collins just almost shoved him out of the way.
I want to tell you something. Autry will take you too. We got to keep an eye on that. Autry won't back down from Collins.
Autry and Collins are going at it heavy.
It's 39-25 and 4:45. A couple of heavyweights pushing and shoving.
Let's watch this rebound on the last play that Dennis Autry is so upset about. Watch Dave Collins. He's behind him now. And you couldn't really see it, but he had his hand down low. What I referred to in the last game, Lou Carnesecca said the subway push. He had his arm down low near his waist, gave him a shove with it as the ball went up, and Autry went forward.
Steve Kaburski picked up the foul. And it is Autry who is standing there at the free throw line with the Suns ahead of the Celtics, 39-25, and Alvan Adams ready to come back in.
If any of you are sitting around wondering how much this means to the players to be in the championship finals, I think this game is indicative of the feelings going on at both ball clubs.
40-25 and 4:35 to go in the first half. We're going to take a special look at Paul Silas at halftime here on CBS. Mindy Rudolph with that feature. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Here's White. Got it down, and there was a foul.
44,
Westphal got to it. His second foul.
You know, one thing's very interesting. Tommy Heinsohn is sitting all the way down the end of the Celtic bench, and I've never seen him do that before. I've seen him walk down and get some water, but Heinsohn's sitting down next to one of the ball boys at the end of the Celtic bench.
That's Tommy Heinsohn's unhappy position. When he's not happy with his players or his officials, that's where he goes, down at the end.
It was Richie Bowers who ejected him recently from a game. We had a foul away from the ball that time. It's on Kaburski again, his second. He's picked up 2 quick ones. It was Richie who kicked Heinsohn out of that game in the Boston Garden when he walked back into the crowd.
He walked back behind the bench, went right and into the crowd. Richie said, "Good night, don't stop. Go ahead and get the water warm." What do we shoot?
And Red Auerbach made that slow walk down through the garden, got the ovation. .42-28 and 4:05 to go in the first half. Inside the Collins got away, and here come the Suns.
That's good defense and no movement by the Celtics.
Adams over his head to Van Arsdale, but the ball just won't go in, and Alvan cleans up. And there was contact underneath.
And fouls on Dave Collins.
Third.
Here's a nice pass to Van Arsdale by Adams. He lays it up. Didn't get it high enough on the board. It bounces around. Adams picks it up. Goes up with the shot. Collins picks up the foul. Mindy, what do you think about his left arm?
It was there, but I think the foul took place first, Rick. And there was no contact, so therefore it was a no. That's a good call by the officials.
44-28.
Is what you have. That's a really stupid foul by Curtis Curry. Things are going well for the team. The Celtics are having trouble generating things, and he picks up a silly backcourt foul reaching in.
John Havlicek will go to the line. He'll have 3 shots, I think 2.
Well, he's laughing about it, but it's not very funny, really, when you consider the consequences. Gives the Celtics a chance, especially a good free throw shooter like Havlicek, to pick up 2 easy points. They got a break. Of course, he has the bonus.
And then the penalty, right.
lost the first two. Well, when things don't go good for you, they just don't go good for you.
Every time we talk on the telecast about good free throw shooters, this is what happens. It's incredible.
From the corner, Keith Erickson. Boy, if he gets hot, the Suns could really be tough. That's his first basket. He has not shot well in either of the two previous games. Westphal on the steal. Took it away from Kaburski, and Paul Westphal with a slam dunk puts the Suns up 48-29. And 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go in Phoenix. Game 3. Kaburski. Adams with control. The Suns are on the move here after losing the first two of this series. What a difference coming back to Phoenix has made. Kaburski cleaned up Westphal's miss in 2:55 left in the first half. JoJo White. Kaburski with a second chance, and Keith Erickson is right there. Hustling on the boards, picking up the offensive rebound. Did a good job of getting back under. Let's watch the play. There's the steal by Westphal. He goes down and he's going to dunk it.
All right. Another case of beer on Monday. And out of your mind. It's unbelievable.
Hey, the crowd, I'm telling you, Mindy brought it up. We talked about it. I think the point got across. The crowd, these guys are jacked up. Hey, I told you they were going to play better. Guys, they're not that bad. You know, one of the big keys, too, is that if he's going to get back in it, Cowens and Havlicek and Silas, those guys have to play a lot of time, put a lot of effort forth. And if they do that, they still come up short.
Sandy? I don't have anything. Let me update the Indianapolis 500. Still suspended after 103 laps with Johnny Rutherford ahead of A.J. Foyt by 12 seconds. Gordon Johncock running third. We'll let you know if they resume that race. Again, rain has suspended the Indy 500 at the 103rd lap. That is just past the halfway point.
Brent, this carnival atmosphere out here, this Mardi Gras atmosphere is absolutely contagious. You can feel it here at the booth. And it's amazing how these fans turn out. Good-looking people, wonderful clothes. I think I might move out here one day, Brent. I put some air in my tires the other day in New York, and they coughed. So I think it's about time I might make a move.
Wait a minute. You'll never leave Manhattan. I can't believe that. 48-31. You're a dyed-in-the-wool New York. Westphal outside. 50-31 and 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half. Rick, you made an interesting point during that timeout. For the Celtics to get back in this, Havlicek, Silas, and Cowens have got to play a lot of minutes. Inside move by JoJo White. Cowens battling. Cowens back up, and he put it down.
That's why he's the player that he is. He plays with such aggressiveness and intensity. He just never gives up.
Sliding down toward the 2-minute mark. It is 50-33. If you just joined us, Ricky Sobers and Kevin Stakem were ejected after fighting here in the second quarter. Adams with a miss and JoJo White with control. Kaburski over to Paul Silas. Havlicek. Garfield Hurd.
Good ball movement, but the ball still will not drop in the basket from the outside.
slides down inside of 130. I don't have to remind you of what Game 4 is going to be like Wednesday night. Westphal, Havlicek. 1:19 left first half. Paul Salas gives it up to White. From the corner. Kaburski. It is at the offensive boards where the Celtics are getting it done. Cowens and Kaburski. 50-35. Down toward the 1-minute mark. White keeping an eye on Westphal on the dribble. Here's Curtis Barrett. Westphal goes inside. Guy comes out to the top of the circle with control. Alvan Adams. And Cowens was there.
Not a good shot for the Suns that time. They needed to come down and get a good shot and try and score again to stop this Celtic mini-surge.
43 seconds, and as Kaburski began his assault on the basket, he was fouled. Alvan Adams picking up his first foul of this game. That's amazing that he can go this long of the first half, play as strongly as he has, and still have picked up just one foul. First he puts it down.
Cowens has not taken him down low, and so consequently he's not had to play Dave in a situation where you're more susceptible to picking up fouls. Dave's been outside most of the afternoon. Morning.
I always have to look at my watch out here. Good morning to everyone in Los Angeles and Phoenix. Off of Silas's tennis shoe. Ball will go back to Phoenix. 50-37 in 31 seconds.
The Celtics very quickly have cut down a 19-point lead to 13 points.
Westphal. Kaburski. Steve Kaburski started some strong minutes. 15 seconds left. First half. Kaburski. He put it down. 50-39. 10 seconds left for the Suns. And Heinsohn says, pressure that ball. JoJo came out and picked it up, and he did not want that foul at that moment. Tommy Heinsohn did not want a foul committed with 4 seconds. He wanted the ball pressured.
Well, the Celtics had, as I said, had a little mini surge. They've scored 8 straight points, cut the 19 down to 11. Now they're giving the opportunity for the Suns to pick up 2 more points and go in possibly with a 13-point lead.
Right till he shoots.
Steve Kaburski is playing extremely well, even though he dislocated his little finger in the Cleveland series, and he still has it taped. It is quite painful. And the Celtics give it up with 3 seconds. Garfield heard side off the eye. He was close, wasn't he? That's the end of the first half, and listen to this crowd. They've come to their feet again. It has been the Phoenix crowd that has turned Game 3 around. Suns lead it 52-39.
Johnny, start the Silas feature as soon as you come back to Brent. As soon as you come to him, you hit it. You know what I think? Probably if Mindy's able to ham mic and telex and Sonny's here, then you can be there with a headset mic over there. Wouldn't that be? Okay. Johnny?
Test, test. Okay, babe.
One of the nice things about this season in the NBA is the fact that Paul Silas has been discovered by a lot of folks. You know all about him as an offensive rebounder. Well, he talked to Mendy Rudolph about his secrets as a performer for Boston.
You put that in your own words, didn't you? Didn't say all that bullshit.
Fred,
Yes.
I'm going to put Mindy in now, Sonny.
Okay. Now, you want me on the headset? Yeah, Chuck.
Don't let me get near Sunny Hill. I don't want to tell you.
Now, when you say step in, you want me over here with... Okay. He wants me off camera, and they got to give it back to me, so I suspect they won't.
Is there another color?
Everybody.
Everybody's on headsets.
I don't have any volume. My volume is bad. Okay, now, okay, I can hear you now.
He can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'll call Brent back in.
Yeah.
Okay. You're the host. I'll lead you. We had some rock'em, sock'em basketball in that first half. Sonny, what do you got for us?
30 seconds. 30.
Sonny, we had some rough, tough, sock'em, rock'em basketball in that first half. Get me, what do you have for us?
We have just that type of highlights for our people around the country because that's what the Phoenix Suns did. They came out and played basketball, and that's what you have to do against the Boston Celtics. Here's a beautiful pick and roll play where Adams picks and rolls with Curtis Perry. Notice how Curtis goes to the basket. The most important thing here was that they established the inside game. Now I want you to notice again as Perry passes the ball to Ricky Sobers. Sobers penetrates the middle, someplace where the Phoenix Suns have not been able to get. He drops off a pass to Van Arsdale, and Van Arsdale's an excellent shooter from the wing. And Ricky Sobers again, and this is aggressive basketball. This is the kind of basketball that you have to play against the Celtics. You have to hustle, and you have to be willing to give a little punishment and take a little bit. And Van Arsdale also does that well, but here is a key player in the first half, in my opinion, as Adams taps the ball in. Gar Hurd, again, with the kind of basketball that you have to play. A good follow-up, hustling play, and he puts the ball home. The Celtics were not able to get many offensive rebounds, but they were able to come up with a few. Cowens with a strong one. And when you talk about the Boston Celtics, Steve Kaburski, I thought, was a very key player in the first half with some strong play.
Okay, we'll see if the Phoenix Suns can continue that kind of pressure in the second half. What do you look for, Sonny?
I look for the Celtics to come out and try to see if they can establish their game, which they have not. I would think the Phoenix Suns would want to continue with what they're doing, which is to be very physical and very aggressive.
Both teams got their work cut out for them. This game is not over by a long shot. Brent, you've got something for us, do you?
Well, I tell you, Mindy and Sunday, a couple of program reminders. Of course, Game 4 of this series Wednesday night, and right after this broadcast, we'll be switching to the Jack Nicklaus Memorial Golf Tournament. And I think right now we should go to Pat Summerall for an update. Pat? I don't hear him if he's trying to talk to me. I don't hear him at all. I hear, is he trying to talk to me? Don't hear it. Oh, okay. Okay, there you are. Were you trying to talk to me, Sandy? No, I thought I could just hear you. Yeah. Okay. We're at halftime in Phoenix of this, the third game of the NBA Championship Series. The Boston Celtics are back on the floor, and you can hear this crowd cheering the arrival of the Phoenix Suns. We'll be back with the second half.
Eddie Flint to the scorer's table, please. Eddie. Opening the second half for Boston, Charlie Scott, JoJo White, Paul Silas. Gone half
Next Saturday on CBS, you'll see if Super Joe Einhorn can complete what he missed here. He will attempt to jump over 15 buses. That would be a new record as far as motorcycle jumping is concerned. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. And, of course, that will be along with the Belmont. Bull Forbes against Elocutionist. And here in Phoenix, I don't have to tell you, the crowd is up again as they have been all game long. It's 52-39 as we get set to start the third quarter. Maybe it's Superman who's doing it, right?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Suns are ahead, but neither team has shot well. Both shooting 34%. Very surprising statistic.
Scott back on the floor for Tommy Heinsohn. Adams got inside of Cowan. They set the lineup. Scott, White, Silas, Havlicek, and Cowens. Westphal, Van Arsdale, Hurd, Perry, and Adams for Phoenix. Adams with control off to Curtis Perry, and here come the Suns. Tommy Heinsohn on his feet already here at the beginning of the third quarter. Van Arsdale. He came off the bench again when Ricky Sobers was kicked out.
That's exactly what the Suns had to do. Come out, be aggressive, and establish themselves again early in the third quarter.
Turnover. Pass out of bounds. White and Scott could not connect.
Something that's been plaguing the Celtics in all three playoff games thus far. Sloppy ball handling, a lot of turnovers for this basketball team.
Silas comes out but couldn't steal it. Scott got back down on Carherd. Havlicek. JoJo White. Van Arsdale goes off on Scott. Cowens. Elbow on Dave Cowens.
Big call right there. That's 4 personal fouls on Dave Cowens. And he just threw the ball away
times that I've done a few rash things, and a technical has been called.
Allen's going over to argue with Richie Powers.
Sure, Richie Powers did call a technical foul on Dave Cowens for throwing the ball away from him.
And I know what exactly Dave Cowens is saying to Richie Powers. If you can't catch it, it's not my fault.
Dick Van Arsdale did not capitalize on it. Missed the free throw.
So after the foul by Cowan, Suns have possession. Adams came back to help out against that Celtic pressure. It's 56-39. Phoenix. Third quarter just underway. Now for a loose ball, and Westphal comes up and puts it in. Cowan. And Curtis Curry is there to deny the Celtics a second chance. Off Van Arsdale's hands, Havlicek battling against Curtis Curry, and there was a foul call.
Mindy, I hope we have this one on replay, because I don't think this is a backcourt foul against Curtis Curry. Now, first of all, Havlicek never has the ball. Curtis goes and picks the ball up, and they collide.
Big thing on that, Rick, again, is what happens to the defensive player. Is he stationary or is he retreating? And in that particular case, he was both. He was in a stationary retreat.
Right, but it seemed to me that John Havlicek never really had the ball. He pushed it out. He didn't have control. Curtis Curry had the ball when John and he collided. Tough call to make against the Suns, I think.
If anything, there should have possibly been a loose ball foul because Havlicek did not have complete control of the dribble.
Exactly, but good defense by Havlicek and good play by Curtis Curry. And, of course, it's up to the official to make the judgment in that particular instance.
58-41 on the strength of those free throws by John Havlicek. 9:45 left in the third quarter. Hurd wanting Westphal to come down. Looking for help over there. Now he takes it up himself.
The advantage Hurd and Curtis Curry have over John Havlicek. They can always shoot the ball over him.
Kaversky left for the lane. Celtics regain control, and Steve complaining to Powers that he was fouled. We'll have a timeout with 9 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tommy Heinsohn yelling at the officials as he comes off the Celtic bench. It's 60-41 Phoenix. This team's in foul trouble.
Sweet Eclair.
What do you think, Rick and Mindy? The Phoenix Suns have the prettiest fans in all of basketball?
I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
New York Cosmos against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Soccer action comes to CBS next Sunday at 1:30. You talk about action. We've had it so far in this basketball game. Kaversky with 3 personal fouls. One team
foul against the Suns. The Suns have outscored the Celtics 8-2 this period. The Celtics are without a field goal. Just 2 free throws by John Havlicek. Inside to Curtis Perry. And a second chance coming up for the Suns, but Garfield Hurd could not convert. Dave Cowens. Adams calmly gave it back to Westphal.
Once again, the Suns moving the ball up the floor quickly, taking good opportunity shots, something that the Celtics usually do.
62-41. Gar Hurd got a hand on the ball, and he's called for a foul. Came out on Havlicek, and that's 2 team fouls against the Suns.
It's the biggest lead right now, Brent, 21 points for the Suns.
Short. And a chance to make it 23.
That was blocked by Gar Hurd.
Drew the foul from Havlicek as he came inside. And that's 4 fouls on Havlicek.
Gar Hurd does that so well. He comes from the weak side and really leaps and catches a lot of balls, deflects them. Let's watch this play. Here's Hurd coming into the basket, pulls up, hesitates a little bit. Havlicek caught him on the arm just a bit. You can see him raising his hand. He knew that he committed the foul. And, of course, Boston now has several players in foul difficulty.
Brick and Mindy, how can an athlete who appears to be as strong as Garfield Hurd get traded so many times as John Havlicek goes out? Hurd played Chicago, Buffalo. Here he is in the championship.
I think it depends, Brent and Rick, on what a particular club is looking for and what talents they can utilize as far as Garfield Hurd is concerned. He has blended perfectly into the Phoenix type of pattern basketball. And Rick, if you have another opinion, let's hear it.
Well, I have to agree with him. It's a situation where you have to fit into exactly what the team's looking for. And Gar Hurd, of course, having played at Oklahoma under McLeod, he knows what this system is all about. It's taken a while, of course, to get used to the other players. But since he became accustomed to this Phoenix style of play, he's done a super job for him, and they've really turned around in the second half of the season.
Now that we have eulogized him, he has gone to the bench with his 4th personal foul, but he'll be back. 64-42 and 8:17 left in the 3rd quarter. Westphal ahead of Scott. Off to Keith Erickson.
That's a great pass by Paul Westphal. He made the defense commit themselves. The last second dropped it off to Erickson for an easy basket.
Glenn McDonald inside to Silas. Alvan Adams fouled him. His second.
Let's take this last play. Now watch Paul Westphal. Puts the ball down, goes up like he's going to shoot, makes the defense come to him, passes to Erickson for the easy layup. One of the few times the Celtics have gotten inside, and they're capitalizing now by getting to the free throw line. But I think, Brent, the big difference in the game today is that the Suns are playing with a lot more intensity than Boston. Especially on the defensive end. Boston is not putting that tough defense on. They're starting to do it now. And they've got a long road to try and get back into this ball game.
Westphal draws the foul from Scott.
Another good move by Paul Westphal. Charlie Scott putting a lot of pressure on him. He got him out of position, hesitated on his dribble, and we'll take a look at it. Now watch him here. He gets in front of Charlie. Charlie's putting pressure. He hesitates a little bit. Charlie, in his pursuit, could not stop his momentum and ran over his back. Good play by Westphal.
4 fouls against Scott. 4 fouls against Cowens. Havlicek on the bench with 4 fouls. Kevin Stakem and Ricky Sobers have both been kicked out of this game for fighting in the second quarter. It's 66-45, and 7 minutes and 52 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Second-year pro Glenn McDonald from Long Beach State just gave it up to Paul Silas.
He may make that shot, but they'll give him that shot all night long. They just don't have that much confidence in Paul's outside shot.
Timeout has been called here. 7:39. It's 66-47. That was the first Boston field goal of this period.
Beautiful.
interesting team. What's Garfield Hurd have? 4 fouls. Back at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Phoenix, Arizona, and right after this NBA championship game, the $200,000 Memorial Day golf tournament.
It's going to see right now how much the Suns miss Ricky Sobers. The Celtics with full court pressure.
White over on Van Arsdale. JoJo slacks off just a bit. Just trying to get them out of their offensive set. It's what you pointed out in the pregame show, Rick, as the shot clock moves down inside of 10. And look at that aggressive display by Charlie Scott, who has picked it up the foul, and that is his 5th. And Heinsohn can't believe it. He is furious. Tommy Heinsohn's on the floor.
No question about it. He's getting he is really hot. He's going to want to try and turn this ball game around a little bit, get a little momentum swinging back towards the Boston Celtics. He did that intentionally. There's no question about it, Mindy.
Absolutely agree, Rick. I also think that he did it to back up Charlie Scott and make certain you know that Tommy Heinsohn is with Charlie Scott to continue to play that kind of defense.
I think the Phoenix police are paying very close attention to Tommy Heinsohn, who might have had a couple of hecklers up there behind him. That's probably why that policeman was over there.
Hey, they've got some behind the bench there, I can tell you that.
They're pretty tough over there, Rick.
Joe Roberts really bad down here. Our assistant coach.
Heinsohn is still upset. He's on his feet. 67-47. Scott against Van Arsdale. Len McDowell came right up in the air, and it was a loose ball foul on Keith Erickson.
And Keith Erickson committed that foul out of a little bit of frustration. He was getting manhandled pretty well by McDonald as he tried to go through the weak side to set a screen. And then when the shot was missed and the foul was not called because of the aggressiveness being done to him, or the physical pressure put on him, he just went up and swung at the ball when McDonald got the rebound.
Look at the turnover situation.
That's the big difference in the ball game, but a lot of it has to be credited to the Phoenix defense. They put a lot of pressure on Boston, and they forced them into numerous mistakes.
The foul situation bodes ill for the Celtics in the fourth quarter, too, Rick, if they begin to come back.
Without any question. They have to be physical to try and get back in the ball game, and of course, when you're doing that, you're more susceptible to picking up fouls.
67-48. The Suns and their Rookie of the Year brought it up for him and gave it off to Dick Van Arsdale. Towns gets back on Adams now. Westphal, who's played a fine game. Come up the other way. The crowd can't believe it. They claim the Celtics touched it last, but Paul Mahalik was right there.
That's excellent defense by the Celtics.
Charlie Scott. Paul Silas with a second chance inside.
There you go, Charlie Scott losing his cool there a little bit, Brent, and going one-on-one basketball. You can't win ball games that way.
6:35 left to be played in the third quarter. Phil Lumpkin is going to check in here for Phoenix. Crowd wanted that 5th foul on Cowens. Now the shot clock's inside of 5, and Westphal goes up against it. Alice out to JoJo White. Across to Charlie Scott, who penetrates. Perry, Westphal, Hawthorne, Adams, Van Arsdale. Up against Scott, McDonald, Silas, Cowens, and White. Lumpkin will be checking in as John McLeod watches the action. Pass got away.
Dick Van Arsdale was wide open. He had his man beat going to the basket, and unfortunately for the Suns, Curtis Perry threw a bad pass.
Lumpkin replaces Westphal. Lumpkin a ball handler, but what the Suns are concerned about is whether or not the Celtics will immediately post Phil Lumpkin underneath and go to work on him. He's given away 2 or 3 inches. He's trying to front JoJo White. Silas takes the shot outside.
Exactly what we talked about. They let him have that shot.
And here is Phil Lumpkin with control of the basketball. 67-50 and 5:35 to go in the third. And Alvan Adams.
the patented way Phoenix runs. They set a screen with the forward in the center. The forward goes through. The center steps out for the jump shot.
JoJo.
That's what you call a way outside post. He can shoot over Phil. He's got the height advantage.
Alvan Adams and Dave Collins was there to block it and bring it down. Quick pass to Charlie Scott. Scott in the lane, gave it up to White. White from the perimeter. 2 quick field goals by JoJo White. It's 69, 54, and 447.
Phoenix has got to control it, get back to their tempo, work their offense, get some good shots inside, not get involved in too quick of a running game to give the Celtics a chance to get them back quick.
Hawthorne came in to Glenn McDonald and was called for the offensive foul. Rick, I have noticed that the last 2 times down the floor, the Phoenix forwards have been forced way out from the basket by the Celtics defense. Now Scott is buried in the corner and gave it up to Collins and wheeled McDonald. And Hawthorne was there, and that is 2 quick fouls in a row on Hawthorne.
Number 32,
And because they're in the penalty, they will come to the line. 5 team fouls against Phoenix, 3 against Boston.
Quentin, you got to give the Celtics a lot of credit. They've been down by 20, 21. They've been down by 19. And they keep playing with that championship fever all the time. They just never give up. No lead is too big for the Celtics to overcome. They have that tremendous desire to play basketball and to play winning basketball. Credit to Tommy Heinsohn and the entire organization, I think.
Well, another thing to point out is they're doing it right now with Glenn McDonald in the ballgame, giving John Havlicek a chance to get some rest on the bench.
69 to 56, and 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the third. White trying to keep them out away from the circle area. Alvan Adams is outside. Silas had a hand on it and went off and out of bounds. Don Nelson will be checking into the game. Rick, I think that you put your finger on it very early in the first quarter when you said the Phoenix Suns came out and played Boston Celtics style defense. Early they were all over the Celts and they forced a lot of those turnovers. Lumpkin against the shot clock is short. Nelson off to Scott. Boston right back now with a chance to put a streak together. Inside move by Scott who went one-on-one. He's controlled it, and the Celts will have a second chance, and Paul Westphal will get back into the game. Quick pass, Nelson to Collins. And here's Paul Westphal. Alvan Adams picked up his 3rd foul when he connected against Collins.
And in the last 4 minutes, Brent, the Boston Celtics have cut the lead from 23 to 13 points with a chance to narrow it down to 11. It shows you can never count the Celtics out, as Mindy pointed out.
In the last few minutes, the Phoenix Suns have missed Ricky Sobers. They have not had the ball handler get the ball down inside that lane and bring those forwards inside for him.
And the Celtics have started putting on their patented defensive pressure.
You watch the Suns set up on offense. They're not getting down close to the basket. Now, Hawthorne finally gets inside, but he was pushed. And it's on number 18, Dave Collins. That's his 5th foul.
That could be pivotal. First they have Charlie Scott, Dave Collins in foul trouble. And Dave Collins is not ready. The ball was given to the man out of bounds. They threw it into Adams, and Dave was nowhere to be seen.
71-58 and 3:20. Havlicek on the bench with 5. Bianchi screaming that Collins pushed off Perry and should be out of the game. Perry is arguing about it.
Dave Collins set one heck of a screen on Curtis Perry. Let's watch Dave Collins. Right there, he walked right down and connected. You're supposed to be stationary, Mindy. Is that not right?
He did throw on the left hand, too, Rick.
You are right.
Now Paul Silas will check back into the game.
Penalty shot. 35.
That awkward but effective free throw shooting style of Don Nelson put it down, and Collins will take a rest with Paul Silas coming in to try the pivot here for Tommy Heinsohn. 71-59, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Collins and Havlicek, 5 fouls apiece.
are on Heinsohn's bench. So for the Celtics, Scott, Silas, Nelson, McDonald, and White. And pressure against the ball. Alvan Adams. That's to Hawthorne, then McDonald. Both teams in the penalty as Hawthorne comes out to the line.
Using the term that let's watch the slow motion replay first. There's a nice pass up by Adams. He makes the fake, gets McDonald in the air, draws the foul. Good play by Hawthorne. But as our very dapper colleague Sonny Hill would point out, the momentum had definitely switched from the Suns to the Boston Celtics. And now it's up to the Suns to try and change that again and get it back into their tempo and try and get a little something going offensively.
Extremely effective in his own quiet way has been the Rookie of the Year, Alvan Adams, number 33. He has gotten the job done. And Lumpkin and Westphal have got it from Silas. McDonald comes back, and Lumpkin goes in with a left-handed layup.
That's that good defense we talked about. Great pressure on the ball. Lumpkin and Westphal teaming up very well on the steal.
So far, they have not tried to post up Lumpkin. Let's see. Scott got away from him on the pick that time. JoJo in the lane with a miss. Nelson and Terry were battling, and it went out of bounds off the Celtics.
There's that last steal. Paul Silas going to get the ball. A little bit unsure at the left-hand dribble. Good position by Lumpkin. He reaches in with the right hand, knocks it away. Westphal gets the ball, makes an excellent pass. Lumpkin takes it down the floor, gets an easy basket. Well, I'm glad they listened to me and did what we asked them to do.
I think they're sweating in their jockey shorts.
You said that Havlicek had 5. He's only got 4.
Oh, who has the 5?
Charlie.
Eamon's power.
Let me correct that.
Yeah, I
thought you were trying to tell me something. Yes. Let's take a look at it.
Shy, that's why they call me Shy. Everybody will sing my little tiny potion. Oh, do it. Look at this, look at this. Do it again, look at this, look at this. Yeah, baby.
All right. Turn them on here in Phoenix, boys. Oh, they just look at Rick Barry and it lights him up down here. Even Superman's ready. Listen, I want to correct the mistake I made. I said Havlicek had 5. He's on the bench with 4. Cowens has 5. Charlie Scott with 5. And folks, here it is, standing ovation number 25, if I counted right.
You made a very important point. Alvan Adams has been a big key in this ball game. He was a bear on the boards in the first half with 11 rebounds. He's doing a good job out here now. And everybody talked about how Dave Cowens is going to be able to dominate him, and I think that he's really shown that he is a fine basketball player. As a rookie, of course, in the championship finals, he's put on quite a show. Here we see in the Gulf that Maltby's still the leader, -2. He slipped a couple of shots. Tom B's right behind him there, and we're going to have a real match going down to that 18th hole.
We'll be going there right after this basketball game. And don't forget Game 4 of this series, Wednesday night. Scott across to JoJo White, who is left wide alone. Nobody there. 76-62. 2:14. Scott with the 5 fouls, working against Lumpkin. You mentioned Adams and Cowens. Rick, Dave scored but 9 points. He's over on the sideline. Hawthorne, his man fell down. He just took it right in.
They're getting a nice lift from Hawthorne, playing a good game for him off the bench.
78-62, 150. Scott got inside.
Once again, you saw Paul Silas doing what he does so well, getting in there on those offensive boards. There's a man that gets so much out of the natural ability that he has. He has limited abilities. He realizes that, but he uses the abilities that he has to fantastic, tremendous advantage. He just really is a very intelligent basketball player.
4 fouls on Perry after that.
Penalty shot.
Oh. 78-63. 1:45 remaining in the third quarter. Dennis Autry will be checking in. Adams. Paul Silas, who is playing center, got back and controlled the defensive board. Scott pushing Lumpkin in. Nelson comes around. And it was Glenn McDonald on the tap end. 78-65. 1:18. Perry trying to establish position on Nelson, who would not give it to him that time.
Match going down to that 18th hole. We'll be going there right after this basketball game. And don't forget, Game 4 of this series, Wednesday night. Scott across to JoJo White, who was left wide alone. Nobody there. 76-62. 2:14. Scott with the 5 fouls, working against Lumpkin.
You mentioned Adams and Cowens. Rick, Dave scored but 9 points. He's over on the sideline. Hawthorne, his man fell down. He just took it right in. He just took it right in.
They're getting a nice lift from Hawthorne, playing a good game for him off the bench.
78-62, 150. Scott got inside.
Once again, you saw Paul Silas doing what he does so well, getting in there on those offensive boards. There's a man that gets so much out of the natural ability that he has. He has limited abilities. He realizes that, but he uses the abilities that he has to fantastic, tremendous advantage. He just really is a very intelligent basketball player.
4 fouls on Perry after that.
Penalty shot.
78-63. 1:45 remaining in the third quarter. Dennis Autry will be checking in. Adams. Paul Silas, who is playing center, got back and controlled the defensive board. Scott pushing Lumpkin in. Nelson comes around. And it was Glenn McDonald on the tap end. 78-65. 1:18. Perry trying to establish position on Nelson, who would not give it to him that time.
Match going down to that 18th hole. We'll be going there right after this basketball game. And don't forget, Game 4 of this series, Wednesday night. Scott across to JoJo White, who was left wide alone. Nobody there. 76-62. 2:14. Scott with the 5 fouls, working against Lumpkin.
You mentioned Adams and Cowens. Rick, Dave scored but 9 points. He's over on the sideline. Hawthorne, his man fell down. He just took it right in.
They're getting a nice lift from Hawthorne, playing a good game for him off the bench.
78-62, 150. Scott got inside.
Once again, you saw Paul Silas doing what he does so well, getting in there on those offensive boards. There's a man that gets so much out of the natural ability that he has. He has limited abilities. He realizes that, but he uses the abilities that he has to fantastic, tremendous advantage. He just really is a very intelligent basketball player.
4 fouls on Perry after that.
Penalty shot.
(78-63). 1:45 remaining in the third quarter. Dennis Autry will be checking in. Adams. Gonzalez, who is playing center, got back and controlled the defensive board. Scott pushing Lumpkin in. Nelson comes around. And it was Glenn McDonald on the tap in. 78-65. 1:18. Perry trying to establish position on Nelson, who would not give it to him that time. Silas switches off on Westphal. Lumpkin took it. Shot clock down to 3. Adams outside. Silas again got back. It's 78-65. Slowly but surely, the Celtics are trying to put together a streak and get back in this. White up inside Hawthorne. Nelson with control, knocked away and out of bounds, and it's Phoenix's basketball. Autry in.
Let's watch this play again. Hawthorne, good defense. JoJo sneaks inside. Tough shot to make. The ball is bouncing around loose. Nelson with the ball. Smack down. Richie said it hit off the...
Offensive foul has just been called.
Looked on that last play that the ball went out of bounds. There was a foul on that play when he reached in and knocked the ball in Nelson's hand, but it didn't call him. There's Tom Van Arsdale.
Dick's brother looking on, a member of the Atlanta Hawks.
And I still can't tell them apart, I swear.
Mindy, one of them has on a white jersey with Phoenix over number 5.
My God.
Adams got a hand on it, out of bounds. Celtics with the ball in 16 seconds, 10 seconds on the shot clock. White and Westphal came in behind him that time. And Westphal checks it with 5 seconds to go. 3 seconds, ball up in the air. And Nelson controls it at the buzzer. 12 minutes of basketball remaining. And this is the third game of the NBA championship. Boston Celtics lead by 2 games, but Phoenix is on a tear.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
This is a commercial for Goodrich Radial Tires. What do I know about tires? I'm a woman. I know about charge cards. Look at that. It's a perfect fit. The point is, most people don't know about tires. Did you know that tires wear out unevenly and quickly if your wheels are out of alignment? Even Goodrich Radials. That can cost you more than money. What we don't know about tires can hurt us. So it's a good thing someone is telling us. Thank you, Goodrich. As a mother, I say thank you.
Selling great tires isn't enough. B.F. Goodrich, the other guys.
Born of the sea, developed by a master mariner over 55 years ago to battle the terrible rust-producing conditions of the ocean. Today, Rust-Oleum coatings snap rusty metal back to new life on 101 items around the home. Many handsome colors. Brush, roll, or spray. Only Rust-Oleum says stops rust brand right on the label. Rust-Oleum, proven throughout industry, farm, and home.
If you're like me, you work hard. So when you rent a car on your vacation, you want things to go right. Take it from OJ. You can depend on Hertz. With more locations, more cars, and super saver rates. Rent a Pinto for just $13.95 a day, plus gas, and drive as far as you like. There's no charge for mileage. With super saver rates like this and super dependability, wouldn't you rather rent from Hertz?
Brent, you can't see it, but I saw that young lady walk into the Coliseum here. And she was wearing a pair of jeans that looked like they were put on with a spray gun. Very, very attractive young lady.
We have just started the final 12 minutes. Crowd in Phoenix on its feet again.
78-65. Suns over the Celtics. Keith Erickson, Dick Van Arsdale, Dennis Autry, Paul Westphal, Garfield Hurd against Don Nelson, Paul Silas, Glenn McDonald, JoJo White, and Charlie Scott. Scott with 5 fouls.
The Suns want to do something. They must capitalize with Cowens on the bench right now.
Westphal.
That's not the best shot in the world, but it was successful.
15-point lead by the Suns, and Game 4 of this series will be Wednesday night on CBS, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Van Arsdale with control. Cross-court outlet, Garfield Hurd. Hurd maneuvers. And it is Glenn McDonald that gets back for the rebound. Silas, who was playing center, gave it up to Scott. Westphal tried to steal it. Nelson. And Dave Cowens will be coming back into the game with those 5 fouls. And so, too, will John Havlicek with 4 fouls. So the main men will be on the floor for Tommy Heinsohn momentarily. Westphal again deep. He's putting on a shooting show here in Phoenix. 82-67. Charlie Scott. Right straight down. Got great elevation on that underhanded shot. Got it up over Dennis Autry, who was coming across on defense. Westphal gave it up to Autry, who's all alone on a pretty pass.
Well, that's really another great play by Paul Westphal, who is igniting the offense here in the 4th quarter. He makes a good play against Charlie Scott by getting by him, getting the penetration. And we're going to take a look at this play. Watch him make a good move, gets Charlie off balance, penetrates inside the middle, goes up, draws Paul Silas to him, pitches off to Autry. There's the foul over the back by McDonald. That's good basketball, good fundamental basketball.
This is by far the best all-around game that Paul Westphal has turned in. Autry missed the 3-point opportunity. Havlicek and Cowens are back. And they'll go with Scott, White, and Nelson at the 10-minute mark. And the Celtics trail at 84-69. Nelson began his move on the basket. There was contact. Al Bianchi disagreeing. Autry assessed with that personal. His second. 1 team foul against Phoenix and 1 against Boston.
Very surprising move by Don Nelson, and he is not known for his drives to the basket, but he must have seen the opening and took it in wisely.
Rick and Brent, watch Nelson after he releases this ball. As he will attempt the second free throw, he'll go to his left wrist. See that?
That's the stick-em.
That's the stick-em. You're
and
right.
That's illegal.
We tried to catch it when we were out there officiating, but he has it in so many different places. Under the arch of his shoe, the back of his pants. He has it any place he can hide it.
I never did like that stuff. I felt it hampered my shooting. I don't understand why he likes that.
That's because you have such delicate fingers.
84-71. Lumpkin gives it up to Autry. 9:39 left in this game. Hurd. And it went down. 86-71. JoJo outside.
The next 3 or 4 minutes are going to be very critical as far as the Celtics' opportunity to get back in this ballgame. They've got to whittle it down, pick off 6 or 8 points so they can get right back into it, put a little bit of pressure on the Suns.
And a hustling Dave Cowens just missed a steal opportunity. Elbow down in the corner. Offense on Keith Erickson, his 5th. He has been in foul trouble throughout this series. And Curtis Perry will replace him.
He has not been a factor with his outside shooting as he was in the first 2 series in the playoffs.
Nelson and Garfield Hurd came out. Just good shooting that time. The defensive man was right there. It's 86-75. It's an 11-point Phoenix lead. Scott back on Van Arsdale. Now the guards are Lumpkin and Van Arsdale. And Alvan Adams will be checking back in. Lumpkin goes inside. Collins comes out on the dribble. Garfield Hurd was there and fouled him. That's a backcourt foul against Hurd.
And we have got another tough ball game right here on our hands. Watch the play here. The shot by Lumpkin. Just crawls out. Collins, good position for the board. He runs out. Hurd reaches in. Silly foul in the backcourt, giving the Celtics a chance to cut this lead down to 9 points. And this game is far from over.
Rick, we've seen Phoenix do that twice now. Gar Hurd did it at the backcourt, and so did Curtis Perry, and that's not smart basketball.
No, it really isn't. Especially in a situation as critical as it is right now, they need this ball game badly. They've had control of the ball game, and they seem to be letting it slip away a little bit right now.
A 10-point lead after Collins puts that free throw in. A well-rested rookie of the year. Alvan Adams back on the floor for John McLeod. It is a 9-point lead. Pressure. Collins almost got to it. Adams gives it up to Lumpkin. 8 minutes and 15 seconds, and Collins hustles back into the pivot. Gar Hurd has it knocked away from him, and look at Dave Collins on the floor. Somehow got it off, and here comes Scott in the middle, and Charlie makes a move and gives it off to JoJo White. Ball wouldn't fall, and Gar Hurd with control. And now it is Lumpkin back. Cross court to Alvan Adams. Collins is there. Off to Perry. Nelson came up, but the ball got out of control and out of bounds. They're on the end line. Watch Dave Collins on this sequence.
There you see the ball bouncing around. Look at the big man dive on the floor. He wants to get that basketball. He's got it in his hands, squirts out, and happened to go to the right man. The fellow with a green shirt on.
7 minutes and 49 seconds left in regulation time of Game 3 in Phoenix. 86-77. Autry will be coming back in. Havlicek with those 4 fouls gives it up to White. Back to Hondo. Hondo with the jump shot. Came right back inside, and Collins with control. And John McLeod is furious. He wanted a foul called on Collins, called the timeout. Couldn't believe that the foul wasn't called as Boston has run off 8 straight points. It's 86-79. We got a ball game.
In 7,500 miles, your oil filter cycles enough oil to fill 3 tank trucks. A big job. And here's the filter for it. Introducing the Silver Bullet. New double oil filter from STP. The only one that filters every drop of oil through 2 filter elements every filter cycle for a better combination of long life and high efficiency than the 5 other best-selling filters. Filter all your oil twice with the Silver Bullet. New from STP.
How do you spell relief?
When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief. R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas, I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. Fast relief.
Following the game, CBS Sports will present the $200,000 Memorial Tournament from Muirfield Village, Ohio, where a star-studded field will be shooting for the $40,000 first prize. That's the Memorial Tournament, following the game.
Rick, as I look at the rebounding leaders, 17 for Collins, 13 for Adams, crowd exploding again here in Phoenix. I've got to ask you a question. What happened to Paul Westphal? He's checked back in. He was going so well, and suddenly they took him out. Did he get winded?
I think that John McLeod wanted to give him a little bit of a rest. He felt they had a good, comfortable lead, but when he went out of the ball game, the Phoenix offense suffered very, very poorly. They haven't scored in the last 2 minutes, and we have a tight game right now.
7:15, it's 86-79. Autry on the floor, along with Alvan Adams, as John McLeod goes to his 2 centers. Shot clock a factor, Van Arsdale. And rolling inside was Curtis Perry.
Better be lucky than good, Brent, sometimes.
No doubt about it. Great defense by the Celtics. Shot way short, and Perry rolling to the hoop, put it in. A very big moment for the Suns. White. Havlicek on the roll. How about Hondo?
That's some shot right there by John. He loves those sweeping hook shots coming across the middle.
Back to 7, 88-81, and 6 minutes and 33 seconds left in this, the 3rd game. Phoenix trying to win for the first time in this championship series. Adams on the turnaround against Collins and put it down, and what a poised rookie he is. You'd think he played in this league 10 years. JoJo White right back for the Celtics. Gives it up to Havlicek. Quick pass inside to Scott. Away from Collins.
Those are the type of plays that hurt. Those turnovers down the last part of the ball game can be critical. And, of course, Phoenix has really capitalized on those in this ball game.
Autry goes out, so it'll be Erickson, Adams, and Perry as they pressure the ball.
They really got a break there. There was nobody back to help. There was just one guard down there being double-teamed, and none of the forwards came up the floor to help.
Now Perry goes back down. Here's Erickson. Gives it up to Westphal. 6:03. Westphal gives it up to Alvan Adams.
That's a great shot by Alvan Adams. He switched the ball over to his left hand, went around Dave Collins, dropped it in. And once again, Paul Westphal igniting the offense.
Here's Don Nelson. Gives it up to Collins, who was rolling. They'll come back the other way. It did not count.
That's the defense. Let's watch this play again. Now watch the play right here. Curtis Perry steps over, picks up the charge on the play.
Celtics on the steal. Nelson with control. High dribble. Turns inside. Puts it down. And Al Bianchi can't believe that Nelson wasn't called for turning the ball over. 92-83 and 5:29. The Suns will slow it down. They're more of a pattern team than the Celtics. Look at Havlicek all over Westphal.
Well, he got...
And that's the fifth foul.
He finally called the foul. He should have called it the first time. John really whacked him pretty good. John got 2 for the price of 1 that time.
Actually, he did call the second foul. It was a foul committed earlier.
Adams underneath, and Collins was right there, and that's it. Dave Collins hit Alvan Adams as he went up in the air, and he has fouled out of this basketball game.
The Phoenix Suns love that play. They love to sneak and backdoor Alvan Adams to the best with the high lob. There's the high lob. Collins all over him with the body, muscling him out. Being called for his 6th personal foul. Jim Hard will come in to replace him. Dave Collins still played a heck of a ball game with 5 fouls for quite a long time.
Rick, I'd like to say something about Collins. They can boo him. They can applaud his leaving and his absence. But if I were a coach or an owner, I'd take 10 Dave Collins on my ball club.
With 13 points. All violence into the game.
92-83 as Dave Collins fouls out with 5 minutes and 17 seconds left in Phoenix. Van Arsdale gave it up to Erickson from the corner. Jimmy Yard yanked it back down. Charlie Scott with the 5 fouls, and Van Arsdale picks him up, and Scott just rotates it home and through the personal. This has been by far the most physical of the 3 games that we have seen.
Here comes Charlie Scott. He sees the floor spread out, makes a great spin move, goes in, made some contact with Van Arsdale. The foul was called on Van Arsdale. Charlie with an excellent chance for a 3-point play.
Put it down, and it's 92-86. 5 minutes. And how will Jimmy Yard react? Coming off the Celtic bench to replace Collins. It'll be the Rookie of the Year against Ard, and Adams comes up on him. The battle won by Hondo John Havlicek, who comes out on the fly. JoJo White up over Van Arsdale, and it is 92-88, 4:43, and McLeod up wants the timeout. So even with Dave Collins over on the bench with 6 personals, the relentless Boston Celtics keep it up. They trail by 4 points.
You fly a lot closer to the crops than to the clouds. But when those last acres are dusted, you know it's Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. It's time to relax. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
Miller stands clear, beer after beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
State Farm agent Jerry Black talks about life insurance.
Money's important. It's important to me like it is to everyone else. However, there's a great deal of satisfaction derived from being a State Farm agent that has nothing to do with money. It has to do with helping your fellow person, helping a family. developing a life insurance plan which will satisfy their needs not only today, but 30 years from now.
The business jungle. How about a good guy? Commercial Credit has the financial resources to see you through. They're committed to it. Cash flow to keep your daily operations running smoothly, helping you over the long haul. With leasing, financing of vehicles, equipment, even aircraft. Bring them your problem, Commercial Credit will find ways to help.
Now we will check out that famed home court advantage. 4 minutes and 41 seconds left. It's 92-88. Ricky Sobers and Kevin Stakem were kicked out of this game in the second quarter after fighting. Sobers watching the team in action from the CBS mobile truck out back. Van Arsdale thus bringing the ball up without Sobers here. Charlie Scott with 5 personals is on him. And Jimmy Ard must guard Adams because Dave Cowens has fouled out. Inside move by the Rookie of the Year. Alvan Adams with a big basket. It's a 6-point lead.
That play was made by Gar Hurd, who set a great screen to free Alvan Adams.
Charlie Scott goes one-on-one on the move, and Hurd yanks down the rebound.
That's what might happen. Charlie made the play the last time, and he can't try to do it by himself. He's got to play team basketball.
Hurd out far away from the basket with Silas. Here's the rookie Adams, faces the basket. Great passer. Erickson rotates out with Havlicek on him. Shot clock a factor. We go inside of 5 seconds. They got to hurry. Van Arsdale with 2 seconds. 1 second, they may not get it off. They did not. With 94-88, no excuse for that in a 6-point lead and 3:50. Door is open for the Celtics again, and here they come. Great defense by the Celtics forces the Suns to go beyond the shot clock limit. Silas with control. He faces the basket. JoJo White wants it. Westphal was in behind him that time. And he fouled him. Paul Westphal came behind JoJo White, picked up his 3rd personal. The Suns with 14 fouls, and the Celtics with 3.
On that last play, the play could have been stopped had Alvan Adams stepped out and cut off the passing lane. It was a simple screen down play. When the center went down, screened on the guard popped out for the jump shot. The center has got to jump that.
A 4-point game and pressure in the backcourt. Ard trying to take the ball away from Westphal. 3:36 left here in Phoenix. Suns lead it by 4. Trail in the series 2 games. Game 4 Wednesday night on CBS. Adams working against Ard. Ard keeping him out, pressuring the ball. Garfield Hurd against Havlicek. Comes up with a turnaround. JoJo White and the Celtics can pull it within 2 points. Quick pass out of Charlie Scott. Scott comes down, gives it up to White. White from the corner. It's a 2-point game. It's 94-92 and 3:09, and the Celtics are doing it without Cowens. Pressure in the backcourt. Hard back to help out, and Hurd gave it up now to Westphal. Westphal into the right corner with White on him. The Suns need a basket right now. This is a critical moment for their confidence, if nothing else. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. There was a whistle.
Jimmy Ard is going to pick up the foul, preventing Paul Westphal from making his movement through the middle of the key. That now has 4 fouls. The next one is the bonus for either team.
Keep in mind that Phoenix led in this game by 23 points in the 3rd quarter. Now they're ahead by 2 at 2:46, and Van Arsdale gives it up to Erickson. Havlicek got a hand on it. Came out with a fine defensive move. Shot clock down to 10. Adams against Ard. 1-on-1. Adams puts it down. It's a 4-point Suns lead. And the rookie from Oklahoma's doing it.
Yes, he has. He scored the last 8 points for the Phoenix Suns.
Down the stretch, it's been Alvan Adams. Now it's White. Here's Jimmy Ard. Hook shot, short. Silas, offensive board. Ard, offensive board. And there was contact. Van Arsdale was in there battling Ard, and he picked it up. His 4th foul as you look at the Phoenix bench.
Boy, I tell you, those are the type of plays that hurt you so bad. And that was exactly what Phoenix did to the Golden State Warriors to be able to win. They kept getting those 2nd and 3rd opportunities. The Celtics just did it to them right now. Jim Ard with a chance to cut the lead from 4 points down to 2.
And he'll have 3. He's got the penalty coming. The Suns have been assessed with 5 personals in the 4th quarter. Celtics not yet over the limit. 2:15 on the clock. Now the penalty shot. Can pull the Celtics to within one. And Hart does. Hurd takes the ball, waits for help, gives it up to Westphal. Westphal with a left-handed dribble across. Now he switches. Down to 2:09, 96-94. Phoenix ahead. They give it up to Westphal. They give and go that time, and Westphal had daylight. Terrific pass. Just inside of the 2-minute warning. Timeout has been called. Rick, take a look at this. It's taken the play of the game.
This is a big basket. Alvan Adams with the ball. They run a simple little split off. He hits John Havlicek, cuts in, and the layup.
So, you're the new Jeep CJ. Call yourself CJ7, huh? Hey, CJ5, check out this rookie on the obstacle course. Why do they send me these soft recruits with options like a hard top and roll-up windows, no less? Hey, the kid's doing good. Keeping right up, and even with the automatic transmission option. Atta-way, CJ7. There's even extra room for my golf clubs. Jeep CJ7, you got possibilities.
Why are men switching to America's fastest-growing hairspray, Vitalis Super Hold?
The pump? It can hold longer than a lean aerosol.
Pump's not an aerosol, so you don't spray any aerosol propellants.
The pump costs less to use, saves money.
The pump, Vitalis Super Hold. It's not an aerosol, can hold longer, and costs less to use.
And that's why I switched to
Vitalis Super Hold.
You're in luck when you got a McCulloch chainsaw.
McCulloch Lucky Days are here, and that means savings. Buy this Mini-Mac 35 chainsaw and get a weekend woodcutter's kit. Look, carrying case, tool kit, projects booklet, and save $20. See all the McCulloch chainsaw specials during Lucky Days, now through May 31st.
You're in luck when you got a McCulloch chainsaw.
Alvan Adams has scored 29 points and critical ones down the stretch as the Suns lead the Celtics 98-94. 1:59 left in this basketball game. Coming up next, Pat Summerall with the Jack Nicklaus Memorial Day Golf Tournament. Silas with the ball, and the Celtics just 2 field goals behind. Nelson driving on Adams, who got back, and Charlie Scott outside. And Keith Erickson with a very big rebound for the Suns, and 1:43 left on the clock.
Good defense by the Suns that time, forcing a difficult shot from the outside by the Celtics, who were trying to get inside.
And Arsdale and Westphal in the Suns' backcourt. 5 seconds, and there he is again. 31 points for Alvan Adams. He's been the story here offensively for the Suns.
Key series right here.
Off the side, and Erickson was there again.
Now they must use the clock. The clock is the best ally right now. They must use up the time on the clock and try to get a good shot, not to rush it.
The Phoenix Suns about to climb right back in this NBA championship series. Erickson to Westphal on 5 seconds. Won't over, and Alvan Adams was there. Would you believe this rookie?
Puts the hay in the barn. It's a matter of shutting the door right now.
Paul Silas, but a little late at 102.96. And that loose ball foul on number 11, Charlie Scott, will be his 6th foul. First Dave Collins and then Charlie Scott.
The Celtics still had a chance, conceivably, after Paul Silas made that basket. A lot of strange things happened in this game, but with that foul by Charlie Scott, if Paul Westphal is able to convert on the free throw attempts, they're going to be able to put the game out of reach.
Also, Rick, I think some of the one-on-one playing that the Celtics ran into in the last minute or two of the ball game hurt them, too.
And Alvan Adams, you can't just say enough about the game he's played this morning. He did a super job on the boards early in the game. Then he took up the scoring slack. He scored 12 of the last 14 points that the Phoenix Suns have got.
And 33 total points.
And Paul Westphal we must compliment also. He did an outstanding job. And the Celtics hung tough. They were 23 points down. They came back and made it a tough basketball game. This is by far the best basketball game of the series.
crowd here in Phoenix. They love this basketball team.
Well, as we mentioned earlier in the game, when you get this type of response, it's a situation where you go out, you work hard, and all of a sudden, down deep inside, something extra comes up, and you just go crazy out there.
Today's NBA championship game sponsored by the Miller Brewing Company. Brewers, the Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
44 seconds left on that clock. 104-96.
You know, the Celtics, of course, in their two previous series, won both the games at home. They have yet to lose at their home court. And then they proceeded to go out on the road against both Buffalo and against Cleveland and lose both of those games.
And then they came back and clinched both series on the road in Game 6, beating first Buffalo and then the Cleveland Cavaliers. Phoenix, on the other hand, defeated Seattle in 6 games, then Golden State in 7. John McLeod never seemed to get too ruffled after losing those first 2 games, did he, Mendy?
I think this gives Phoenix also a lot of confidence that they so need, Brent, because what they really did here today, from what I can see, is really beat Boston at their own game with good team defense, clogging up the middle, a good selection of shots, and there's a happy young lady, I'd say.
Don't forget the Memorial Open coming up right after this NBA game. Bees and Irwin.
Oh, Hale Irwin has really gotten hot. He started the day 3 over. He's now 2 under, tied for the lead with Don Bees, and Maltby has faltered in the early going. The Phoenix, you know, has led this game since it was 8-7 early in the first quarter, Brent.
So we start the final 44 seconds. And Garfield jumped in front of Havlicek and Stokes. Westphal comes back down on the attack, moving against JoJo White. Intercepted by Paul Silas, 29 seconds. Jimmy Yard gives it up to Hondo. 104-98 and 20 seconds. There he is, Alvan Adams, 33 points.
That's a smart play by a rookie. He knows the time's in his factor. He could have shot the ball or passed it. He held it out.
Garfield Hurd started his move and fouled by Silas.
You can see why he was voted the Rookie of the Year and almost a unanimous vote. That's good, intelligent basketball. A lot of players have been in the league many years, aren't smart enough to hold the ball up and bring it out and use up the time.
3 shots to make 2.
Havlicek quickly off to JoJo White. All over here in Phoenix. I'd like to credit our director, Sandy Grossman, and our producer, Chuck Milton, for another outstanding job down here in Phoenix. The Suns have done it. They have battled back into this NBA championship. And don't forget, we'll have Game 4 of what now shapes up as a tremendous series Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or 6 o'clock in Los Angeles and here at Phoenix. So, Brett Musburger, for Rick Berry, Mindy Rudolph, and Sonny Hill saying goodbye from Phoenix. The Suns beat Boston 105-98.
Today's NBA championship game is a presentation of CBS Sports. The controversial and colorful Daniel Patrick Moynihan gives his views of the UN and his theory on crime in Conversations with Eric Severide tonight at 10, 9 Central on CBS.